symptoms were all done. It was about two weeks or more later, and I was still testing positive. It's like, what?
It's
they say it can hang around in some people for months after they're recovered.
That's what I heard. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's what I read too. But then like I was like I felt like I had to get a test, and at the same time like it's not gonna matter because it's gonna come back positive. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, do it. And then I was like, wait, negative? What?
Yes, well, that's good though. I mean, how long did it take from the time you tested positive to the time you tested negative? How much time had passed?
Well, when I tested positive, that's when I started my 14-day isolation. But I would say a month.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize you had it that long. Goodness gracious.
Well, I mean, it was kind of the same for us.
Or I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, our worst symptoms were over in just a couple days.
Well, yeah, but
for your dad, the fever hung on forever.
Yeah. One of the coworkers at my job, he apparently got it, and he actually, I feel like he had it worse because he was having, diarrhea and throwing up.
Oh no.
That was my concern when I got it. Like, if I were to catch COVID, like, I hope I don't get that. Fortunately, it was just a temperature, but you still feel like shite.
I feel like shite, I know.
Shite.
Now we just have to pass it on to Matt, and then the cycle will be complete.
There you go. That's right.
Oh, hi, Matt.
Hello.
Well, we're live now, so this is the Arturelia podcast, and today we're going to talk about our 3 best favorite films. Now, this is not really like a competition. It's more of just like our favorites in the film industry. Now, if it was a top 10, yes, there would be competition, but we're just picking the ones
it's like 3 of our favorite films. It doesn't have to be our top 3 favorite films.
Yeah, I'm holding back on that.
So I intentionally picked ones that were farther down on my top 10 list, just because I've talked about the others so many times.
So I guess who wants to go first?
Doesn't matter.
I could bring up a merged set because the first 2 are identically the same movie with the Evil Dead. Has anyone ever seen any of those?
Yes.
I've
seen parts of the Evil Dead movies. I don't know if I've seen them in their entirety.
So you've never seen Evil Dead 1, 2?
I've seen portions of it. I don't. I might have seen 1 all the way through, but I'm not entirely sure. It might have been something I just had playing in the background while I was working and didn't really pay a lot of attention to it.
Yeah. Oh no, I just want to bring them up. They're great movies. They're
great family-friendly movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially the unrated versions of the first 2.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You actually introduced me to the first one.
Yep.
That's Bruce Campbell, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Hail to the King, baby.
He played in a movie that I actually thought was pretty funny. It was called Bubba Hotep. Have you guys seen that?
No, I don't think.
Not sure about.
I've heard the title.
It's okay. So, and I'm only bringing him up because he's connected with the movies that Matt mentioned. It's a movie about Elvis, who walked away.
Oh yeah.
I know. Okay.
Yeah. He walked away from his life, and he had his double take his place. So his double was the one that died, and Elvis was still alive. And he's in this nursing home now because he's all old, and crotchety and everything. And nobody believes him when he says who he is. And then there's some sort of supernatural element that has invaded or come into the nursing home and is preying on the people at night. And so he and one of the other people there in the nursing home is an older black guy, and I can't remember what his funny thing was. Like he had this funny thing. What was it with him?
He thought he was John F. Kennedy.
He thought he was. Yes. It's a cute film. I just say cute, but I mean, it's funny. I enjoyed it.
It was more like a dark comedy, wasn't it? Sort of.
Kinda, yes. Obviously, yeah.
That's an amazing premise that they have going there for that one.
You should check it out sometime. I think you would probably like it.
Well, the funny scene was when I guess near the end, like the black guy and then Elvis when they were having that little, I guess finale. I don't want to say, but just the finale part was pretty funny. It's these old folks.
Yeah, they can't move very fast, so when they're running away, it's like they're
but the
on their little scooter or something.
Yeah. The black guy, I think, wasn't he on a wheelchair or
he was like a motorized scooter, I think.
Yeah, and it was like it was a serious moment, but he's going and it's very
So yeah, if you guys ever get a chance to check it out, let me know what you think about it.
I kind of want to watch that.
I want to watch it too.
It's pretty good. We should do like a
let's watch.
Yeah, like a let's watch Arturo.
Yeah, we can do that. We still need to do Steins Gate though.
Yeah, I know that's true. But I mean, if Mike wants to join us for the let's watch sometime, then
yeah, we should definitely do that.
Sure.
I would like to do that. So Matt Air.
Yeah.
So the Evil Dead's like one of your favorites?
It's one of my favorites. The first one is really low budget horror.
Yeah.
So, and the first one, it's like the first one and the fourth, the remake, kind of, are the most horror in it. Two goes more comedy, and 3 is completely its own thing.
I love 3.
Yeah.
Do they all have Bruce Campbell in them?
Yes.
Okay, so he's kind of like a really important part of that whole franchise.
He was also in the TV show that they did.
Right, I knew that much.
Right,
it was a TV show.
Yeah.
Was it good?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is it done?
Yes. I think they only got 3 seasons, and then they may be doing other things with it, but it's not. It may not be related to the show.
Okay. Did it wrap up, or did it end on a cliffhanger?
I believe it wrapped up. I watched the first 2. That's when we had cable, and it was on like Stars.
Okay.
And then when we got HBO, when we got rid of cable, 3 wasn't part of that package.
Really?
So I got to find 3 like on Netflix or something.
Aren't they supposed to be like comedic?
The second and third are more comedic, and the show's more comedic.
Why did I get the feeling that the first one was kind of comedic too? Or maybe it was just that it was so over the top, it sort of seemed comedic?
It was a little comedic, but it's not as comedic as the second one.
Okay.
I think they lost the rights halfway through production with the first and second movie. So the second movie is actually just a remake of the first movie with a little bit bigger of budget.
Okay.
And
probably because of the success of the first one.
Yeah, well, there's that because I think in the show they didn't have the rights to the third movie, but they had the rights to the first 2 movies. So there's parts where they show.
I know.
They will reference things, but they can't fully mention anything from it.
Didn't Sam Raimi direct it?
Yeah.
The show?
The movies.
That would make sense. Oh, sorry.
All of the movies?
I don't know about the fourth, and I believe he did the third.
Okay. Sorry.
Well,
what were you saying?
I was going to say, when it came to like the comedic aspect of it, the fact that it was directed by Sam Raimi, I was thinking, yeah, that would explain a lot, because I always feel like there's some sort of like either comedic or like not camp, but like kind of kitschy element. To some degree in each of his movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Matt and I have these conversations at work sometimes, and he tells me a lot about how companies either have or don't have a right for something, and it's so complicated because you want to follow the franchise, but you can only follow half of it, and then the other half is somewhere like another company holds the rights to the other half. It's like, why make it so complicated? Well,
it certainly doesn't help the fans any.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's a downer for them because they can't enjoy, and you would think that one of the focuses of these companies would be to try to make the fans happy. You make the fans happy, you might make more money, but no, they have their little spats and disagreements with, about things like the rights and stuff like that.
Like Matt was telling me the specific anime that could be like a rival to Gundam. Good night. It is hectic with where they went with with that whole series. A company has it over here, a company has it over there. One of them is like holding on to it so hard. It's like, come on, just give it this is kind of why people pirate anime, because companies won't like put it out for a legal streaming service. They just want to hang on to it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, who else wants to talk about their third favorite film?
Matt only talked about one film. Weren't we supposed to talk about 3 of our favorites?
I mean, you guys can go, and then I could just chime in with others later on.
We could like cycle, maybe go around, like clockwise, go around, and each of us list a movie, and then move to the next one, and then we can go through our 3 that way. And
that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
Simon said, my 3 favorite films are Arrival, Pulp Fiction, and
Babel.
Babel.
No. Nice.
Now I've seen 2 of those. Now, which Arrival are you talking about? Are you talking about the Charlie Sheen one or the Amy Adams one?
The through line between.
What country you from? What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what?
I've never seen Babel, but I've seen both Arrival movies. Okay, so the one with Amy Adams then. Okay. Yeah,
I've never seen that, but Mom, haven't you watched it?
I did. It's good, but it's a slow burn, slow pace type of thing. It's more cerebral than anything else. A character sort of drama with some sci-fi thrown in. I think I prefer the Charlie Sheen name. They're not connected at all. Not at all. The only connection they have is that it's about aliens.
Every time I hear Charlie Sheen, I always think about that commercial. You go to a Turkish bathhouse. When you go to a Turkish bathhouse, you meet Charlie Sheen. And when you meet Charlie Sheen, you reenact Platoon with Charlie Sheen. Don't reenact Platoon with Charlie Sheen. Get rid of cable and upgrade to DirecTV.
I love those commercials. Those are the best.
Wasn't there one where it was like it goes through the whole scenario and ends with and when this happens, your daughter meets a guy who wears a dog collar. Yeah. And when she meets a guy with a dog collar, she marries the guy with the dog collar. Don't let your daughter marry the guy with the dog collar.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. There was one that was like my favorite.
That was the one with where the guy when he looks out the window.
Death. Yeah, when you fake your own death. When you wait forever for the cable guy, you get bored. When you get bored, you start staring out windows. When you start staring out windows, you see things you shouldn't see. When you see things you shouldn't see, you need to vanish. When you need to vanish, you fake your own death. When you fake your own death, you dye your eyebrows. And when you dye your eyebrows, you attend your funeral as a guy named Phil Shifley.
Don't attend your own funeral
as a guy named Phil Shifley. That one was like my favorite.
That is one of the best ones. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay, so all right. So Matt has got one under his belt. So I guess if we go clockwise, then the next would be Mike.
Alrighty. And you said these aren't necessarily our 3 like best.
Just 3 of our favorites, because you can have several favorites.
Yeah. There's so many out there. Like, it's really hard. Like, that's why I'm saying it's not really like a competition. It's just ones that we really like.
Not like necessarily your top 3.
But it's one of our favorites. I mean, there's a bunch.
Oh, that's all right. I feel like I've talked a lot like about like the top 3 I normally pick. So I'm actually going to start with the one I've always considered my number 10 favorite film of all time, if that's cool.
Yeah.
It's a 2003 film called Goodbye Lenin. It's a German film. Okay. It's it's directed by a name of, I think it's Wolfgang Becker, but it's like a dark comedy set during like the time where the Berlin Wall was coming down.
Okay.
And
okay. All right.
So basically, and I should point out also the main character is played by Daniel Bruhl, who also played the Nazi in Inglourious Bastards that wouldn't leave Emmanuel Mamieux alone, the cinema owner, and he was
also the guy who owned this. Okay, when you said Nazi, at first I was thinking you meant one of the military.
You mean the guy that was helping the Jewish girl? Him?
No, not the black guy, but like he was the German who was like, you know, he was the one who kept trying to like advance on her, like was trying to like, you know, fall for her and stuff, and she's like, no, stop it, leave me alone, kind of thing.
I don't remember his face, but I vaguely
remember the character. Yeah, I'm trying to think like which character was that. I mean, it's a little while since I've seen it.
His name is what? Daniel what?
Daniel Bruhl,
Uehl.
Uhl. He was the Friedrich.
Wait. Oh, hold on. Isn't this the guy who also played in Avengers 2?
As who?
As the crazy person who wanted to.
Okay, now. Oh, yeah.
He's also going to be in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Now I remember.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Is he German? I thought he was Swedish.
I thought he was Swedish. He's okay. He's a Spanish German actor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
interesting.
Yep. Well, now.
Okay.
But this was like his earlier, like when he was still doing film, like when he was getting into films in Germany. But this film, it follows him living in East Berlin. He's living in East Berlin, and his mother is like a very staunch supporter of the communist government. But unfortunately, when she sees him being part of like a protest against the government and being arrested by cops, she falls into a coma, at which point, when she wakes up, her son is told that if she has one more scare, no matter how big, she could possibly die. The problem is the time she wakes up, it is after the wall came down, and it's during, it's still like East Berlin still exists, but it's between the period of when it came down and when Germany united.
Yeah.
And so the whole movie is him, his sister, and their friends just trying to recreate everything
like it's the same.
Like it's the same, yeah. Meanwhile, there's Meanwhile, there's like a whole bunch of like, capitalism is coming in. You got like Coca-Cola coming in. Everyone's like, what? Or she's like, what's going on here? No, nothing.
That's funny.
Why? Yeah. I was having a picture like this was going to be a depressing film. Like I would have seen it in my, but yeah, I
started off by saying it was
comedy. I don't know, for some reason, like I thought of his face, and then I just thought of this gloomy, and then I don't know why that didn't click with me.
That's funny. Is it in German?
It is. It's in German, and I think it's from 2003. So like this is like not too long ago.
It's called Goodbye Lenin, you say?
Mm-hmm. Like Goodbye Lenin, like V.I. Lenin.
Yeah, they're referring to like what, Vladimir Lenin?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that guy.
I figured.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of that film.
It's got very high ratings. It's a romance / comedy, and it was 2003.
There is like a subplot to where like he falls for like a medical student who is from like the Soviet Union, all the while trying to keep up appearances of there's still we're still living in a communist government, don't worry,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that might be something you would be interested to watch, Arturo.
Yeah, because I know I've been wanting to lately. I've been kind of getting to like that Cold War period, like East and West Berlin. And I know I do want to watch that movie with Tom Hanks, Bridge of Spies.
I still need to see that movie. It looks so good.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Did you like
it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was good.
Yeah, nice. I've seen it, but I don't think I was focusing completely on it because I think I was working at the time. So I don't remember the first thing about it, except just the premise. That's it. But
For Bridge of Spies.
Yeah, Bridge of Spies.
Did you see what Simon? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh wait, the plot to that movie actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
In real life recently, a kid called Joseph Flavel woke up from a coma recently after being hit by a car in March 20. Oh,
whoa.
Oh, of course he wouldn't.
Good night.
That's scary.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine?
A coma is actually really creepy because your body is still aging, but everything around you is just moving through time. And then you wake up. It could be the apocalypse.
Yeah, like The Walking Dead. That's what happened to that character in Kill Bill, the bride.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. She was in that coma.
Right.
And then she had to wiggle her toes because she couldn't move.
Yeah.
Wiggle your big toe.
Wiggle your big toe.
Hard part's over.
That was a fun movie.
Your little toe.
I love that.
I heard he's supposed to make a third one, I think.
Yeah, I've heard talk of that.
There's always been that rumor of there's going to be a third one, and yet there's also the thing of he's apparently got one more film to make and then he's done.
Who, Tarantino?
Yeah, he said that.
Really?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What?
He also wanted to direct a Star Trek film. That
I heard about that too.
Oh, that's right.
That would be a good Star Trek film. Why does he want to quit? He's still young.
He said something about like how he wants his career to end on like a high note, which I mean, I guess I can see that being the case. Yeah.
I mean, his films are enjoyable. I've liked pretty much all of his films that I've seen. None of them have been, my favorite films, but certainly very, very fun to watch and quite engaging and captivating because a lot of times you're just like, what's going to happen? But he's got this really good way of building suspense and weaving all these different storylines together.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think what I appreciate him is because he's both a writer and director of his own story, and he basically just brings out his imagination.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like him, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, they all brought out their ideas to the world and, made a big impact in the industry.
Yep.
Well, that, and also he, like his films showcase his knowledge for other films as well. Like,
oh yeah,
especially with Inglourious Bastards, like there's a whole lot of like references in the backgrounds of that movie where it's like, no, these are actual films, or this happened, or this is supposed to be similar to this film and whatnot.
Yeah, they actually, if anybody here's watched Kelly's Heroes, there's actually a song from that movie that they put in Inglourious Bastards.
Yes.
Which song?
It was a song that played when they were in Kelly's Heroes. It was a song that played when they were in the town, that small village, or and it was whenever the tank was going around and kind of blowing up stuff.
I forgot what that song.
Yeah, and it was in Inglourious Bastards.
Oh.
What was the scene that it was in?
It was that actor that you were mentioning. I think he was either going up the steps and it was playing that song.
Oh, in the theater.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I know the song you're talking about.
I can't hear it in my head right now. I'm not.
I can still hear it. It's clear as day.
Yeah.
I'll probably recognize it as soon as I hear it, but it's not coming to me right now. It's been a while since I've seen both of those movies.
Really good films.
They are.
For sure.
Well, I'll wait till my next turn, but yeah, definitely some of those are in my top 10.
So speaking of Quentin Tarantino, so this was like his latest film that came out like in the last decade, and this film has he's made so many good films and they're all likable. This one actually stuck in my mind longer just because of how he shot it, the aspect of the film, the way the cinematography, and on top of that, like the period that it was set in Hollywood, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes.
The characters were like well written, just their well, issues going on with the new generation of Hollywood. It was changing at the time, and he Rick Dalton, he wasn't at the height like he used to be back in the 50s and 60s, either being a cowboy, killing Nancy's.
with
Who ordered the fried sauerkraut?
Yeah. Anybody orders fried sauerkraut?
Jeez. It was funny because when it showed the scene when he came through with that flamethrower in the movie scene, I thought of Inglourious Bastards. Wasn't there a scene with a flamethrower in Inglourious Bastards or no?
Wait, hold on. What are you talking about, Mom?
I don't know. I mean, I flashed on Inglourious Bastards when that scene happened. Was there a flamethrower scene?
Well, without giving too much away, let's just say there was
fire.
Flames. There was flames in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah. Okay.
And I guess you could say this was a reference to that. Because, well, what's interesting about Quentin Tarantino's films is that they're somewhat in the same universe, but it's like an alternate version.
Yeah, so that movie may have taken place, and then they made a movie about it in that.
In a different concept. That's what people are speculating.
You mean so y'all mean like that movie that Rick Dalton was in was supposed to be like a reenactment of what happened
in Inglourious Bastards.
Oh.
So I guess so. Like in Quentin Tarantino's universe, he rewrites history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay.
And then Kill Bill isn't actually Kill Bill is based off a TV show that the woman in Pulp Fiction was supposed to be part of.
Oh,
she mentioned she was going to be in a show or something.
Oh,
Fox Force 5.
Yeah, I think Kill Bill was actually it's supposed to be like a movie in that world.
Yeah, that one kind of tripped me. Like I was thinking, is Kill Bill in the same universe or is it in a movie in a movie?
It's a movie. It's one of the theories is that it's a movie in a movie.
Okay.
So
yeah.
the whole Fox thing.
Brain explode.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Kill Bill is a movie in a movie universe.
Or a TV show in the movie, yeah. Yeah.
So it's not supposed to be something that really happened then. It's just supposed to be a story.
Yeah, that's why
within the universe.
Yeah.
Oh. And that's why it's so over the top.
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of see how that'd be the case.
That does make sense because it is crazy over the top, and his other films are more grounded in reality as far as things that happen.
Like Django Unchained. What was the other one with Samuel Jackson? I mean, he's in most of his films.
Fiction.
Well, yeah, that. But what was the other one where they're in the cabin? The Hateful Eight.
Was the
Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
Originally, that was going to be a sequel to Django Unchained, like a direct sequel, and then they changed some stuff, so it wasn't a direct sequel.
Yeah. Oh, that one was also good too.
So true.
Something about feet. That does completely make sense now because when you like Kill Bill is fun, but it is over the top. The action is okay,
Well, I mean, just the fact that she slices people's
if it's supposed to be a movie or TV show, then and none of his other films, from what I can remember, are over the top like that. As far as like those crazy stunts that they can do and the crazy fighting, none of them are like that.
Well, okay, hold on. Django Unchained slightly went a little over the like the gunfights, like the gunfights in there. Sometimes the blood would just splat out everywhere.
Yeah,
it was I mean, it was maybe a little more realistic into some aspects, but
I'm just thinking of all the crazy type of sort of crouching tiger hidden dragon sort of fighting that went on in Kill Bill. That was just like, there was no way in the world that would be possible.
And one of the characters and the people in there, their limbs are all cut off, and they're still able to like crawl away. I'm like, you would have died already. You were bleeding to death.
Yeah,
this isn't true. That's impossible.
I thought about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a lot after it ended, and I liked it more than I expected I would.
Yeah, like it just for some reason, like after we watched it, it was stuck in my head for goodness, several.
Was
weeks.
it because of what you knew about what happened to Sharon Tate? Because
well, yeah,
I was dreading because I did not know how he was going to write that ending.
Well, I kind of by accident, I found out how it was going to end.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe that, but also the fact that it was just an interesting film. Like, yeah, it was slow paced, but in a good way.
Slow burn. It was a slow burn. That one of the most tense scenes, not counting the ending, was when Brad Pitt's character goes to the ranch. Friend, and the guy that was there, the guy that was running around on the horse, Tex was his name. I knew he was one of the killers that was involved in the Taryn Shate. Listen to me, the Sharon Tate murders, and so I was afraid that Brad Pitt was really going to get killed, like his character was going to get killed in that scene. Because with Tarantino, you never know. Like there were people that got killed in Inglourious Basterds that was like, wait, what? They're not supposed to die. You know?
Yeah, he kills off his characters.
Yeah, so I could completely see that Brad Pitt was going to buy it there, and I was really, really tense during that entire scene.
I was actually intense a bit at the ending until it turned on its head.
Yeah, I was saying, like, not counting the ending. That one was very suspenseful. I really loved that. I had so much fun. I laughed so hard.
Didn't Matthew like laugh when he brought out the flamethrower?
Yes, that was hilarious.
I don't want to say too much if people haven't seen it.
Go watch it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, if you know of the Sharon Tate murders, which was a tragedy, let's just say there's wish fulfillment. It's like the same. Well, it's kind of okay. I don't want to. Also, don't go into much spoiler territory. Inglourious Basterds is also a wish fulfillment.
Yeah,
you have that,
right?
And then you have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah. He rewrites something.
He has his own take on history. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which it's interesting.
It is.
All right, Mom, you're up. What's your third?
Okay, so one of my films, and these were films that I picked from like the middle and towards the end of my top 10 list. One of them, and I'm mentioning this because I haven't talked about these much in our other discussions. Previously, I talked about The Secret of NIMH, which is one of my top 10 films. Mm-hmm. This particular movie is called Warrior. And I love this movie so much. I mean, it made me like cry. It was so touching, and it was just heartbreaking. Nick Nolte gave an absolutely spectacular performance in this movie. And have you guys seen it? Mike and Matt, have you guys seen Warrior?
I don't know if I have.
Oh.
When did it do you recall when it came out?
I think it came out in 2011.
11.
Yeah.
2011.
It has Joel Edgerton and Tom Hardy and Nick Nolte and Jennifer Morrison in it. And the premise of the story is it's these two brothers are estranged. Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton are estranged brothers who both had a history of like MMA type fighting.
Right.
And the family had been broken apart because Nick Nolte's character was an abusive alcoholic, and the mother left and took Tom Hardy's character. This backstory is explained, sort of touched on during the course of the film, and Joel Edgerton's character stayed behind because by that point he was a few years older than Tom Hardy's character. By that point, he was already in a relationship with his then wife, the girl who's going to be his wife, and he didn't want to leave. But terrible things happened after the split, and Tom Hardy's character ends up going off to war, and then he just gets very, very just he's very broken in a lot of ways, and he's very angry. He's just like full of rage, and he wants nothing to do with his brother. He wants no reconciliation with his brother. He goes to his father to get his father to train him to enter this MMA tournament. Meanwhile, Joel Edgerton's character, he is also coming up again in the world of MMA. He had quit to become like a teacher, but because of health problems with one of their kids, he also starts to fight again for money. And it just so happens that they both end up in the same tournament, and they both end up in the final together to fight.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very emotional, and
Yeah,
great performances by all of them. And I just, that final scene, just breaks my heart. It's so good.
Like, I would say it's only one watch for me. I've seen it once.
Seen it multiple times.
I know you've seen it. Like the first time I saw it, it was, around that time we were sick, and I remember you.
Papa had just died too.
Yeah, you were watching it. I kind of semi remember you, like the first time watching it, getting emotional.
Oh, it was so freaking sad.
And then you showed it to our cousins too.
Yeah, we watched it over there.
Yeah, and then you finally let me and my sister, like we both sat down and watched it together.
Yeah, I made you guys watch it.
I'm like, okay, I mean, yeah, it's emotional, but not something I would rewatch again. I didn't, and by the way, I didn't cry. I'm soulless.
Well, yeah, you're like Uncle Timothy. You're soulless. Well, it's not my typical type of film. See, I like a lot of action, thriller, mystery, horror, suspense. That is my. In fact, my top 5 are those types of films. This is not a film that I would rewatch over and over and over and over and over and over and over, like Terminator 2. Right, but. But it was so well done, and it had such an emotional impact on me that it has just always stuck with me, and it's been in my top 10 probably ever since I saw it. So that's
more than The Fighter.
Yeah, more than The Fighter. I think it was better than The Fighter.
I know The Fighter came out a year before.
Yeah, even though Christian Bale did a really good job in that movie, and it was based on a true story, this one just had more of an emotional punch for me.
Which makes more sense that, you would put this, I mean, this would be put on a higher level than The Fighter. I mean, I've seen The Fighter, but honestly, I can barely remember it.
It was good. Now that for me was more of a one-time watch.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It really depends. Like certain films, they're good, but they're not something you may revisit because you may get more into something else which you may want to rewatch over and over again. Certain films, they just, they come and go, and then that's it.
Right.
It's probably, of all the films on my top 10, it's probably one I've seen the least often. But it's just, it earned the spot because of how just so well done it was. Just Nick Nolte's performance in there. He was nominated for an Oscar. I think he should have won. He didn't win. But it was phenomenal. And just the two brothers, and just the tension, you could just really feel it. And it was so realistic because of people, if not your own sort of your own real life and conflicts like that in your own real life, of people that have gone through, families being torn apart, dysfunction, stuff like that. So
absolutely, yeah, and that makes it but that relatability makes it even more impactful and memorable.
Exactly.
I mean, fictional stories, even though they're not based on, reality, like in a real event, it's still tragic because of the messages that they.
So if you get a chance to watch that at some point, let me know what you think about that too.
That's going on my list too. That's going on my recommended list.
Cool. Did you ever get a chance to watch some of those other movies that we talked about?
Unfortunately, I haven't been able to. Okay. I know I still have Little Nikita on there and Silver Bullet.
Okay.
Which I'm trying to find. Where's the thing?
Oh, I was going to ask, Mike, how was your documentary coming along?
It's still coming along. I've kind of hit a bit of a roadblock again, but I'm going to be able to hopefully, find a way around it soon.
Yeah, I've been meaning to read your thing. I've just been really busy lately. Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, Mom. Mike sent me a thing, like a little thing that he wrote about that movie.
It's the it's the essay that I've based my documentary. Like the documentary is actually like I adapted it from an essay I wrote in college.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of as like a giving visual examples of what's being discussed.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you mentioning that and saying that you would forward it, but I didn't know that you had sent it to Arturo.
I could send it to you.
Okay, that's cool.
I didn't know if you wanted me to send it through like the podcast, like the what's it called?
The chat.
Right, like the
comments?
podcast chat, or if it was that y'all would prefer I send it to Arturo personally.
Oh, it doesn't matter. If you want to link it up, if you want to link it in you could do it either in the public or the private chat if you want. And I sent you a message in the private chat too, by the way.
All right, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's Matt, one of my three. So yeah.
Yeah. So Matt, you're up. What would be your second favorite?
Have you guys ever watched Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fun film.
Yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss was actually pretty funny and funny.
The main guy?
Mm-hmm. Yes. He was going crazy. Remember the scene where he's digging up the yard or doing something crazy in the yard?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen that. I actually wrote a review back when I was active on Tumblr. I probably should do a movie review for that.
Yeah, we both only seen it once, I think.
Huh.
Yeah.
I feel like that could have been a reference made in Space Jam when what's his name, Wayne Knight is like digging like a huge hole in the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it might have been.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was one of Steven Spielberg's earlier films.
Earliest, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the other one.
I like the cinematography in there.
Yeah.
I like the beginning part of the film, just things going on in the town.
Mm-hmm.
The police are chasing this UFO.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, the rest of the only downside is that the ending, I mean, it's not bad by no means. It's just I don't want to say too much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this was a movie from back in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, Mom, you know, there's people that have not seen it.
I know.
They weren't born around that time.
Yeah.
I mean, they did have the 40th anniversary a couple years ago, and they did get a re-release in theaters.
That was when you went?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was like a comeback classic. One of the comeback classics recently. Okay.
It was I think it was for the 4th anniversary.
40th. Okay.
Yeah.
So why is that one of your favorites? What is it about it?
I like the old movie feel, and the old movie look.
Yeah.
That's something that's always that will stick with me. Old films from the 70s and 80s really get me for that look and that feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I
feel very similar.
It's really hard to describe, and it's really hard to do today.
Yeah, definitely.
There
like
was a movie that they sort of tried to recreate that type of feel, and I cannot remember the name of it now, you guys, but it's a horror movie, and they tried to film it with that sort of like late 70s, early 80s feel to it. So I know what you mean, but there's not very many of them that they do that.
It's the look, it's the effects.
Yeah.
Because
the audio.
The audio and stuff. Today's films don't do. I mean, I guess if they would tone down the CG, do more practical, and then use CG to make the practical look more realistic.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
That would be better.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry. Go ahead. Oh no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I agree with you, Matt. Like, not necessarily entirely getting rid of CG, but using it as it's supposed to be, which is like
supplement.
Yeah, a compliment, not saturated.
Yeah, with me, I always have this nostalgia feel for mostly like 80s and 90s movies. I don't know, just something about them. I mean, yeah, 90s is very different from the 80s or 70s. 70s, yeah, like when you get up to the later 70s, you start to see a little bit more of that like coming to the 80s side. It's just for me, the 70s all like had this gritty look to it.
Yeah.
Because at the time, and I guess the country was going through a bit of a rough time, especially after the end of the Vietnam War, and just the economy wasn't doing the best. And just I don't know, I always get this dark green feel to that period. Yeah,
there he goes with the colors again.
That's my dyslexia. I view things in colors, and then the 80s come and it's like a bright yellow, and then the 90s are like a bright red. I don't know. Just something about 80s and 90s is like nostalgic.
It's interesting that you pair the decades and the styles that were, that coordinated with the decades with colors, because like that's a very that'd be very interesting. Like that's a very interesting way to, I guess, remember a decade or portray a decade through a color kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it is directly connected to his Tim being dyslexic.
Yeah,
because I've heard that this is not all that uncommon. That a lot of times dyslexics will think in color. Of course, they think in pictures often. And so I don't remember when he told me that, but I remember it really surprised me. And then I started asking him, well, what's the color for this year? What's the color for, what's the color for 2001? The year that the terrorist attack happened. What's the color for that, Arturo?
Like a blue color.
Blue. And I remember thinking that it should be like gray or black. No, it's blue. To him, it's blue.
Yeah, and then 2002 is like a green color, and then 2003 is like some reddish color.
Someone put a word to this.
What?
Synesthesia.
Huh. Never heard of it.
Maybe there is a name for why you do that, what that is anyway.
It's weird because some years that weren't bad, they get like a black color. Okay, well, 2016 was bad. That did get black.
That was a bad year.
Even before that year came, like it was already black in my mind. But
you had already decided it was black.
Yeah, so I guess I predicted the future.
You knew bad things were going to happen that year.
I guess, but yeah, and then 2006 is black, even though that was not a bad year.
No, it wasn't.
2005 has got like, now that was a bad year, but that got like a yellowish color. I don't know. That's just how my mind processes years in color. But
that is my finger. Sorry. Popo grabbed my finger. I think she thought I was giving her something. She grabbed my finger with her little teeth. Oh, okay. You're sorry now? Okay.
You're up, Mike. What's your second favorite film?
Let's see here. I'm trying to think of one that I haven't really talked about a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely. Colon Pass 88.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Sunshine. That was a good one from that year.
What one was it? What did you say?
Oh, for 2006, that there were a lot of good movies that year. One that comes to mind for that year for me was Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh, okay. All right. I knew you said Sunshine, but I couldn't tell what else you had said.
I remember we saw Pirates of the Caribbean twice that year.
Oh yeah.
The second film.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I will say I was, I think, a little young to see it because some things did kind of bother me.
Oh, you might have been.
But goodness, like I remember you cracked up, like especially when Jack Sparrow shot that bird on the coffin, and then he slipped that hand out, and just
that entire movie was so much fun, and then the ending happened, and it's like, are you kidding? I didn't like the ending, but leading up to it was hilarious.
And then the whole chase scene in the forest with the key, that was fun.
Yeah. That was funny. Okay, we keep interrupting. Mike. He hasn't told us his
So I'm gonna go for my number 2. I'm gonna go with my number 7 pick, which is my number 6 pick, which is The Great Dictator from 1940. the Charlie Chaplin film.
Interesting, different films on your list. I have heard of that movie, but I have not watched it.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Yee.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Is it what was I going to say? It's not silent, is it?
No, actually, this was his first fully this was his first like film that had entirely that was entirely sound. It was a 100% talkie, because his previous film Modern Times came out in 1936, and of course by then talkies were a thing, but he like still kind of was easing into it still. But with Great Dictator, it was full dialogue, sound, everything.
What's the premise of that? And I'm assuming it was in black and white.
It was. So the premise is it follows Charlie Chaplin. He's playing both the dictator of a country called Tomania.
Okay.
And at the same time, he's also playing a Jewish barber. They both look alike. And also, because of the time period that this was released, it was quite obvious that this was a satire on the rise of Adolf Hitler. Right. But yeah, like it pretty much is just it's like it's a parody of it's a satire on fascism, on Nazism, but like in a way where back then most studios were afraid to touch that subject because we don't want to get them upset, kind of thing. Right. Like this was before we went into World War II. Okay. I guess I thought it was about Hitler. Like I thought that his character was supposed to be Hitler. And I was never really interested to see it because I'm not huge into Charlie Chaplin. I don't even think I've seen one of his films. It's like it's obvious that it's supposed to be Hitler, but it's not like legitimately Hitler. Right. Like, the name of the dictator is Leonid Hinkle. Oh, this guy's got the same initials. Yeah, exactly. That's funny. But like they do also other things too, like his I think it was the guy who was in charge of the Luftwaffe Air Force. I think his name was Hermann Goering, like the large. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So in the movie, he's in there, but in the movie he's called Air Garbage.
Well, that fits him. That's for sure.
Of course, that does. Yeah.
Right. That's funny. But
I think really what made me love this movie so much is the end of it. I'm gonna go ahead and put this up as a spoiler warning. Okay. If that's
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. There's a speech that there's a speech at the end of the film. I'm not going to say who it says it, but after like an hour and a half of comedy and hijinks and slapstick comedy, it's at this moment the film for the final like 7 minutes just does a complete turn. It does a complete turn, and it talks to the audience about, look, there's this dangerous tide of there's a dangerous tide of tyranny that's approaching, if it has not already. But also it's hard to explain because I really don't want to talk about it, but at the same time it is the most important part of the movie. Like,
so it's like a warning to the world, basically, or an attempt to warn the world.
It is. It really is an attempt to warn the world of. It's an attempt to warn the world, but also to reinforce the idea of the importance of democracy, the importance of liberty and freedom for all people. as opposed to just, giving in blindly to leaders because out of sheer desperation.
Right. I feel like the world needs a warning like that today when it comes to countries like communist China. Everybody's afraid to offend them or step on their toes, and Hollywood bows to China. And to me, it feels very similar as far as the danger on the horizon.
It is. It is, and it is. I feel like it's always going to be a timely message, especially with you had mentioned the Chinese. That I'm not a fan of the Chinese government either. I think that they are very despotic.
Little Winnie the Pooh.
Huh?
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. You ever heard of that one? They call the dictator over there. He looks like Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What are you
talking about?
Yeah.
He gets really triggered by people comparing him to Winnie the Pooh to the point where he has banned images of it.
Yeah, there was a game. I think it was either a Chinese game or a Japanese game, and they either tried to release it on stream, but there was something connection when it came to Winnie the Pooh and that dictator, and they wanted to ban it because
of course
they him as Winnie the Pooh.
That's funny.
But also, and yeah, someone had mentioned how that was the speech became a meme of some sort. It's definitely especially when there's a tragedy that has unfolded or some sort of disaster or impending doom that's going on in the world. I always turn to that speech, and whenever that happens, I usually try to post it on my social media in that hopes that other people might find comfort and solace in it.
I feel like I might have seen it floating around.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I have too. Now, you know what? Honestly, I don't think I've ever heard Charlie Chaplin speak. So if I watch this film, this would be the first time, not just the first Charlie Chaplin, but I've never watched videos of him talking, because everything he's been in that I've seen videos of has been, been silent movies.
Oh, really?
Right.
Did you watch the Robert Downey Jr. movie about him? I didn't.
I didn't either, but I've been meaning to. Yeah.
I heard it was really good, that he did a really good job.
But also, I if I could add one more thing about the movie. I know I've been going on about it.
No, go ahead.
There is one tidbit that has always been interesting as well. So with this movie having been made before we went to Germany to fight the Nazis and everything, what's interesting is when by the end of the war, when we found out the true extent of how bad things were, to the point where there was the concentration camps and the Holocaust was going on, Chaplin the movie, he actually went on record saying that 5 years ago, had he known that was going on, he would have never made the movie. He had no idea that it was that bad, because not a lot of people did until we finally saw those camps.
Right. Why do you think he felt that way? Was it because he felt like it was that the comedy was inappropriate, or why did he say that?
I would say I can't remember what his reason was, but it seems like it would be because he probably would have seen it as inappropriate, because there is actually a reference in the movie to concentration camps, but it's nowhere near what what people thought, or it's nowhere near what it actually was. In the movie, they show it, and it's just it's just a little, it's just a prison. You go there, prison time there, do regular prison stuff. No one knew that it was no, it's gas chambers. It's the horrible god awfulness that was. Yeah.
But I think his movie, even though I've never seen it, I have definitely heard of it. I know of it. It seems like it's had a pretty a pretty significant impact.
It did. It really did, and
Did he get
it
in
was
trouble
actually,
for it?
huh?
Did he get in any sort of trouble for making that movie?
I don't know if he. I can't remember if he did. But I think, but I did hear one thing about how actually Hitler even saw the movie, and hang on, there's had I known the actual horrors of the German concentration camps, I could not have made The Great Dictator. I could not have made fun of the homicidal insanity. Exactly. Yes. Thank you, Simon.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that like he wouldn't, you know. I can't remember if he got into trouble for making it, but of course there was like a lot of like a taboo of the subject of the war that was coming.
Sorry.
Those are they're going.
I muted his mic.
Sorry.
But I know that there was something that happened with Chaplin. There was some sort of fall from grace or something that he had, I thought. But I don't know what it was.
Okay.
There was one fall from grace, unfortunately, and that was he. It's been rumored. I don't know if I think it has been confirmed, but he had kind of like a interest in younger girls. Yeah.
When you started talking, I was like, I thought I heard something about.
Oh, Mom, you could unmute.
I don't. Oh yeah.
I could do it myself.
I don't know if it ventured in the territory of actual full-on pedophilia, or if it was like right on the edge. But that now I remember that now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
No, I'm just gonna say my phone battery's getting kind of low, so I'm gonna get going. Sorry.
Okay.
No.
Oh no, we won't.
Tell us quickly what your third movie would have been.
I was thinking Logan from the X-Men series.
That's a great movie.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I still need to see it.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
Oh my goodness, Michael.
I'm waiting for Matt to force me to watch it right after he forced me to watch Cats for the second time.
Oh.
Which that could also go on the list if you guys.
Yeah. Matt, he said, "Oh, I could add anything on the list, like cats." I'm like, no.
If it's one of your favorites, then yeah.
I mean,
Not my favorite for being good.
Your favorite for being bad, right?
Bad, yeah.
Same with Holmes and Watson.
It's his favorite form. Oh Jesus, no.
Okay. I'm surprised that you actually dislike a film. I mean, that's unlike you, Matt. You like everything.
No, you have to see this movie.
No, I'm not.
These movies.
No.
You really, if you have HBO Max, you should go now and watch it.
And lately,
I'm not.
Lately, he's been wanting me to watch the redo of Healer anime. You know, Mom, that very controversial one.
Oh,
which we're not going to get into right now. But Holmes and Watson, which Netflix didn't even take.
Yeah, because it was that bad.
It was an interesting take on Holmes and Watson.
Yeah, okay. See,
which means yes, it was.
Yeah. Doesn't it have Will Ferrell in it? I don't care for Will Ferrell, so that's why one of the reasons why I was not interested to see it.
No, it's a British Will Ferrell.
British Will Ferrell.
Yeah, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Okay. So Buster Keaton, I forgot about, but no, I think.
Well, I'm gonna get going, guys.
Okay, see you, Matt. Thanks for
joining
us. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
So Anna mentioned that she thinks that what we were talking about, what we were referring to, was really pertaining to Buster Keaton, but I thought there was something with Charlie Chaplin.
The Buster Keaton.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. The Buster Keaton allegation, that's news to me. I did not know that.
Oh, okay.
So thank you for pointing that out. I need to research that now. And
here we go. Charlie Chaplin. Oh, okay.
That's right. He was.
Yeah, I thought there was something about communism in his during the McCarthy era. Was he really a communist? Because some people that were accused of communism during McCarthy, they really were full-fledged communists.
Well, yeah, but I would think
people weren't.
Yeah, like I would think he wouldn't be just because of that movie he made.
Yeah, but some people they don't equate communism and Nazism on the same level of bad. Unfortunately, some people, they don't see it that way.
Yeah.
So he wasn't communist, but he did have sympathies to like light forms of socialist beliefs. Like, because Modern Times was kind of like a more left-sided critique on the treatment of the working class in the 1930s during the Depression.
That's one of his other movies too. Then that sounds familiar to me, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Was that a talkie as well?
Half of it was, but he never talked in that movie. Oh. But there was a scene, actually, now that I remember it, in that movie where his character was actually arrested for falsely being accused of being like a communist agitator.
Now, did this happen before or after the deal with him that was mentioned?
You mean when he was accused?
He was banned. Well, he's banned from the U.S. Was this before? I would assume it was before. See, I don't know much about the chronology of his films, so.
No, yeah.
It's almost like he could foretell.
He could
foretell something.
But
that's
it's like The Simpsons.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Yeah. Modern Times predated. Modern Times came before he was banned from Hollywood. But also, there's a famous photograph of him with the director of Battleship Potemkin, Sergei Eisenstein, and they're good friends. So it's like, okay,
yeah, that was a lot kind of stacked against him for sure. Then,
yeah.
Okay,
but that's interesting. Some little historical aspect there.
All this little trivia. I like finding out different trivia.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, and especially with The Great Dictator, it's like it kind of, you go further into it and it's like, okay, then this happened and that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
All
okay,
right,
Turo. So what's yours?
Well, this would probably have to be one of my favorite. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of like this genre of films, except for this trilogy, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta say, so when I got into cowboy stuff, it was Red Dead Redemption, and when my cousin came down, Corey Michael's movies, he mentioned about The Good, the Bad, the Ugly to watch. And that just expanded my interest in the Wild West. And this is one of my favorite Wild West films. I mean, I know my second, like, on that trilogy would be also For a Few Dollars More, which is better than the first one. And then the first one when it comes to, like, the top three. But, yeah, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, it was, I would say, well done.
Oh, I used to be obsessed with that film. I would watch it forwards and backwards because that was when we used to use the projector.
Oh, nice.
I'd watch it and then I'd back it up and watch it in reverse.
Like, so the cool cowboy type guy, Clint Eastwood. Yeah, spaghetti Western Eastwood movies are really cool and different. I do feel that way. I mean, there's Young Guns. That's a really good film.
That's not really a spaghetti Western, though.
Yeah, it's not, but something about The Good, the Bad, the Ugly just had this.
Oh, it was so well done.
Yeah, see, so Chris Stuckman kind of made this point that you can tell, like, is it a prequel, sequel? I mean, he gets that uniform in the film near the end, which you see in the other two previous films. But Chris Stuckman's kind of like, well, he was, I guess you could say he was making those films, kind of figuring out where he wanted to go with, the series. He had one, then he had two, which expanded. And then the third one was kind of like maybe its own thing entirely,
Okay.
So technically you don't really have to fit it with the other films. It could be like a standalone. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, like Blondie's character, even though he doesn't really have a name.
Well, the Eli Wallach.
Yes, Cowboy Bebop
was the best part about that movie. And it took me years to realize that he was the best part about that movie, because before I was obsessed with Clint Eastwood. I thought he was so handsome, and I was just, and he's so cool, and he's just so calm and tough and everything.
Cool.
But when you as I watch it later, now I'm, older, and I appreciate his character.
Yeah, Cowboy Bebop, I think, took a little bit of inspiration from a Western thing. There was like an episode where the main guy faces a guy that's like a cowboy, and it kind of had that sound of,
I thought you were going to mention The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. That's actually what I thought you were going to mention.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
Maybe for another
time. Such a good movie. We need to watch that again.
Maybe
Western.
What'd you say, Mike?
I've heard people describe that one as a kimchi Western, like where it's spaghetti Western.
You haven't seen it?
No, I've seen both of them. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So why do they call it that? Because it's Korean?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Except that one, like, is set during the 1930s when Japan was conquering Asia.
It definitely comes across as more comedic than The Bad and the Ugly.
It does, yeah.
Well, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
So well done.
Yeah, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly had some funny moments, like,
it did.
What was the ugly guy? What was his name?
Tuco.
Patuco?
Tuco.
Or Tuco. Yeah.
And what's really funny was how he used to do the fake, like when he would do the crossing, he'd be like,
yeah,
he'd just do like real lazy.
Blondie. He had
these little shifty eyes, because he was a shifty character. And you could just see he was cunning. He was just thinking all the time about what he could do to work something out to his advantage.
And then you had the villain who, he looks like a villain. He sounds like a villain.
Didn't he play in one of the other trilogy films?
Yeah, he was a different character.
That's what I was thinking, that he was a different character.
Here he's the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see him playing like different villains. Like he's got that iconic.
He's got that face.
Yeah, he's got that face, but also his voice too. His voice kind of sounds kind of.
There was dubbing in that film, and I don't know.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we watched an extended edition like a few years ago, which added some of the scenes that were literally dubbed. You could tell they were dubbed, but the one that we have, which is, the standard edition, it actually didn't look too bad when it came to like dubbing.
Yeah. I mostly noticed it at the beginning, I think, and there might be other scenes too.
Well, like I said, the extended edition scenes that were not added, you could tell they were dubbed. Like, not natural.
Okay. That's probably why they were cut, maybe.
I'm a conflicted on which one I like more, the standard or extended. Like the extended kind of shows a little more things that happen prior to certain scenes. It's just that the dubbing part, you can tell, not great.
The standard one is already really long.
Yeah.
It's like almost 3 hours, isn't it?
2, maybe? I think.
I remember it being really long.
But then on top of
right.
What's that?
What's that?
That sounds about right. The length, it was like almost 3 hours.
The score was very catchy too.
Oh, yeah.
You definitely know. I mean, it has made its mark because you know it when you hear it. As soon as you hear those first few notes, know.
And then, the theme of it, Red and all that, I think that's where Red Dead Redemption got its inspiration from, was The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to ask, was that score, did that happen to be by Ennio Morricone?
Yes.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense because he is the best. He was the best.
And he recently won an Oscar for his work on, I forget what film. Did he recently pass away too?
Yeah.
He did, unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, but he what was the film? He just won. Was it an Oscar or?
I don't even remember what film it was. I just heard he won something.
It was recent. Was it? It wasn't Once Upon a Time, was it?
Wait, what? Did he get composed music in Once Upon a Time?
I don't remember.
I think he did some music for it, but I don't know if he like composed it or if it was like borrowed from like previous tracks that he had made.
He passed away last year.
Oh, Hateful Eight. Wait, he did Hateful Eight? Oh, didn't he do Django Unchained?
It sounds. You know what? It wouldn't surprise. Hold on. Now I feel like I need to look. Oh, he did horror stuff too, y'all.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What did he win an Oscar
one
for?
of my favorite ringtones. Down, 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 down.
Yeah, I've got that on one of my CDs. Now that's going to bug me, you guys. What the heck did he just? And it was fairly recently.
Was it 2 years ago that he won something?
I thought it was like super recent, and now I can't find.
But yeah, I think
Wikipedia to see
his
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, so it's been longer ago. Wait a second, that really confused me. It says that it was 2016. He received his only competitive Academy Award for his score to The Hateful Eight, at the time becoming the oldest person ever to win a competitive Oscar. But I thought that he won something after that. Maybe I'm mixing it up with Grammys and maybe some Golden Globes. It could be. That's what I'm doing.
The music in The Good, the Bad, the Ugly is really good. And then I don't want to give too much detail. Let's just say there is a standoff or a final thing that happens that the music's really grabs you into that moment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very
sure
good.
Does shine.
It really does. It is true that a good score really does make a movie. It makes an already good movie that much better. Just like what happened with Halloween. How much better that movie was after the score was written for it.
I know that most of the music, so like in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I know some of the music was kind of just used from the 1960s, but it feels like you're living in that time too. If you take some of those iconic musics and put them in that period, it really gives you that impactful feel of, man, it feels like you're really there.
Yeah. It's kind of nostalgic. I mean, I wasn't alive during that time, but you really
just
do
about
feel
it.
Like you're that was
there was passion in it. Like you could feel the passion from it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you watched I guess Stranger Things too, only 80s music, you know.
Well, it's because it's supposed to take place during that time, but I thought I heard Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood referred to as his love letter to Hollywood or something like that.
That would make sense because
I guess like
really
old Hollywood.
Yeah. And with The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, you could just tell it's got that feel of a Western style. It's always that iconic, like what kind of guitar? It wasn't like a guitar, sort of.
I don't know what instrument they used. I don't know.
Okay, I would like to know because I always compare that feeling to the Western, Wild West, and even in Red Dead Redemption, you do have that feeling of like some of the music in there.
I want to say banjo, but I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on musical instruments, so I don't know.
Well, Mom, what would be your favorite character in The Good, the Bad, the Ugly? I mean, I do like Clint Eastwood's character. He was a cool character in that film.
Well, now probably my favorite in there would be Tuco's character.
Because of how funny he is.
He's just so well written and hilarious. And he's such a great contrast to Clint Eastwood's character. And that the dynamic that they had, was really good.
Blondie.
Don't die, Blondie. It's like you're the one that tried to kill him. You only want him alive now because you think he's going to lead you to some money.
Money. It's all ours, Blondie. See, there's two kind of worlds, my friend. Those with loaded guns and those who dig. You dig.
Yep.
And on top of that, it was set during the Civil War, so that's pretty interesting. Oh yeah, you even cried when that that Confederate soldier was crying because of what was happening in the cabin.
That scene really broke my heart for the longest time. It was it was the scene where the guy was having the bad guy was having Tuco beat up by that big burly guy.
Yeah.
And I think to cover up what was happening was they were making the prisoners outside play.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I think and the fiddler, I think he was playing the fiddle or violin.
Yeah,
I don't know the difference between
one with the hat.
Yeah. And he knew what was going on, and it was just killing him. He just hated it, and he just broke down and started crying and quit playing. And they forced him to start playing again. But the look on his face and how he was crying and just when I first saw that, it was just like back in the day when I was quite a bit. I was a kid. I was a teenager, and it broke my heart every time. And I would just sob and cry and cry and cry and cry. It's just like,
how old were you when you?
I don't remember how old I was the first time I saw it, but I remember every time I saw that scene, I used to just sob because I just felt so bad. Everybody in this terrible time and this awful situation, and this guy knowing what's happening to somebody else. I mean, he didn't even know who Tuco was, but he just knew. So that it was something that happened often, that they would probably brutalize people inside that place. That's why he knew what was going on. That's why he was crying. So
yeah,
it was a sad scene to me.
Is it still sad?
No, I don't cry anymore when I see it.
But it does bring back the memories.
I mean, I used to cry. I mean, I would cry over a lot of stuff back then. Like I saw Summer of My German Soldier, and that movie used to make me cry.
Wait, what movie?
Summer of My German Soldier.
Wait, what was that one about?
You've never seen it.
No, I have not.
It was based on a book, I think, but it was about this German soldier in this town somewhere in the US, and this girl is kind of helping him hide out. And then he wasn't, he was like one of those mini German soldiers who was in the war just because he was basically forced and, caught up in a very bad situation. And the young townsgirl was, trying to help him. And then they found out he was there, and they killed him. And then she was an outcast in the town, and they were very hateful to her after that.
Well, that sounds depressing.
It was depressing. And the thing is, you could understand where both sides were coming from, which is what makes it so sad. You could understand the townspeople feeling very angry about what she'd done, but at the same time, they didn't know the guy like she did. You as the audience see the situation that he was in, and he is a sympathetic character. Is Mike still with us?
I am.
Oh, okay. He was real quiet. I was like, I thought maybe we got disconnected or something.
Sorry, no, I was
listening in detail.
I was soaking it all in.
Okay, so.
But yeah, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, a really great spaghetti Western film. I would highly recommend those that haven't seen it should watch it. You will not see. I'm not over there's not a lot of 60 films that I've watched, or some that there's some that I like, but I don't know, 80s and 90s. There's a lot of films I like, but that one is definitely one of my favorites from the 60s. The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
Yeah,
it's definitely a classic. It's a staple of the spaghetti Western genre.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you ready to move on to the next person, Arturo?
Yeah, go ahead, Mom.
Okay. All right. My next one is The Black Stallion.
Nice.
I love that movie. That is such a feel-good movie. And the first time I saw it, and see, I used to read all the books. And I don't remember if I read the main book before I saw the first movie, or if I saw the movie and then read the books. I don't recall, because it's been quite a while. But that movie was a Francis Ford Coppola film, and it has Kelly Reno and Mickey Rooney and Terry Garr in it, and also the guy who plays the father in Gremlins. but he's only in there briefly in the beginning.
Okay.
So have you seen it yet, Mike?
No. I mean, I know. I know. I go
it's like when you and Corey look at me when I haven't seen an 80s film, a certain one.
I was like, oh my
me.
goodness. It was so it's so good. It's so the cinematography in this movie is absolutely beautiful. The score is beautiful. The acting is very well done. He was a kid at the time. And Mickey Rooney, of course, you know, he's great in there. Terry Garr plays the mom. But do you know the premise of the movie?
Barely.
Oh, jeez. Yes, it was a it was a Coppola film, Francis Ford Coppola. So the premise of the story is, and I don't remember how much it veered from the books because I've seen the movie, obviously, produced by. I've seen the movie more times than I've read the book, which only once. But the story is that this father and son are on a cruise because this takes place like in, I don't remember, 50s, 40s, 30s. It takes place a while back.
Okay. And
they're on this cruise ship. It's like a, you know, one of those old time, you know, not like Grandeur of the Sea or anything like that, but, you know, a cruise ship. And I don't even remember why they were on this trip, but they're on this trip. And the father tells the son this story about Alexander the Great's horse. You know, this great majestic story. And he gives his son this little statue of the horse, Alexander's horse. And then in the meantime, the kid sees that there's this wild stallion that has been brought on board the ship. And he's wild. I mean, he's not very easily approachable or anything like that.
Right.
And oh boy,
Rice.
A lot of echo going on. Oh.
What's that?
He needs to put in his
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you put earbuds in?
It's a tablet, so I don't have any like actual earbuds.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna hear feedback.
Oh,
sorry, I can leave. I was just testing it because my brother's using the computer.
It's really loud. Sorry.
Hello.
Oh, okay. I think he muted himself, or maybe you did, Artur. I don't know.
No, I didn't.
Anyway, so their cruise ship goes down. Their ship goes down,
Right.
And the only survivors are this wild black stallion and the young boy, and they end up on the island for a while, and they form a bond over time, and then eventually they're rescued and brought back to society.
Right.
And he brings the horse with him, and he doesn't really have a good place to keep the horse, so the horse stays with on Mickey Rooney's land, because Mickey Rooney used to be either a jockey or a horse trainer or a jockey trainer or whatever, you know. And they realize how fast this horse is, and basically it ends up that they get the horse entered into a big huge race, because there was going to be a race between these two horses. You know how they'll, like, two of the best horses, and then they're going to have a runoff and see who's the actual best. Well, they managed to get, no, maybe it wasn't two, maybe it was a bunch of horses. I'm sorry, maybe it was a bunch, but they get the black stallion entered into this big horse race, because horse racing was really big back then. I mean, it still is sort of, but
right.
So that the final scenes of that movie are just so beautifully shot, and the music is just amazing. It's a great feel-good movie, and I absolutely love it, and I always have ever since I saw it. So that's why it made it to my top 10.
Is that an 80s film?
No, it came out in the late 70s.
Really? I thought it was like the 80s.
No.
I did like that as a kid.
Yeah,
my sister always watched it, and I watched it with her a few times. I don't even remember if I've seen it all the way. Like, I remember watching some of it. I remember
think you have, because I think I made you and Aurelia watch it with me one time.
Oh,
I'm trying to introduce you guys to all these good movies.
Yeah.
I've seen like screenshots of it. I didn't realize that there was like an element where like, there was a story that continues after like they get off the island. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, because I think it's I couldn't tell you an exact specific amount of time, but it feels like they spend about half of the movie on the island and then the other half sort of trying to adjust to life back, in with society and, still having their bond and everything. It was very good. Very good. I think it would be worth your time to watch it.
Very, very, very good.
You haven't watched any of these awesome films we've been talking about.
I'm sorry. I've been preoccupied with a bunch of like underground or like hipster films.
Well, I mean,
there's so many movies, it's
with you, Mike, you're finding you're watching some interesting films that like I haven't even heard of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd never heard of it by Lennon, so that's an interesting.
Okay, how's that?
Hi, Matt.
Let's see how we sound when we talk. That sounds good.
Yep, sounds good.
Yep.
I found Bluetooth.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, it's called oh shoot. What was the name of that movie? I know which one you're talking about. I used to love that film.
What is it?
Crap. Now I got to look it up, y'all. That's going to bug me.
Na 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 na. I should.
You're not a bear girl.
Oh, here we go. The name of that movie was called. I know, right? The name of the movie was called Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken, and that was a very good film too. That was also about horses. I think it takes place back in the Depression-ish era. I might be wrong. And this girl, she ends up being and they really used to do this, you guys, where they would take a horse, girl would ride a horse up to the top of this platform or get on the horse up at the top of the platform. And then the horse would jump into water, a pool of water. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, they really would do that. So it was sort of kind of inspired by true things, but the story itself, I think the story of the character herself, I think she ends up going like blind or starting to lose her vision or something like that because one time when she hit the water, I think she hit it wrong and it messed up her eyesight. That was a good.
Why does that sound familiar? Like you may have told me about.
You may have seen us watching it at Deanna's house.
I don't know. I'm getting a little confused. My memory's kind of jumbled up on something that I remember seeing.
I used to just really love that film because it's horses.
I think there was a reference to like that, either the movie or the concept of like, horses diving off 5 platforms into pools of water in like one episode of The Simpsons. I feel like there was they made a reference to like that.
Huh.
But it led to where they own a horse and then like they enter the horse into like different horse racing and as per usual, as per Simpsons style, everything goes kablooey.
Wonky, right?
Yeah,
right.
Everything goes wonky.
Yes. So that's wait. Oh yeah. That was Cliff Robertson, the guy who played Uncle Ben in Spider-Man. It's not a huge spoilery type of thing, Arthur, if that's what that noise was about. It was just, it happened, I don't know, midway through, and he was someone that had sort of helped her, and she had formed a bond with him, and, then he passed away. I don't remember what it was, but he died sitting. I remember that scene, actually, when we started talking about the movie. That was one of the scenes that flashed in my head, because I remember that. I never forgot that scene.
Well, that's a better way to go.
Peacefully.
That it is, yeah.
If that were to happen, I would rather go that way.
I think most people would.
I'm trying to remember. No, it was Christopher Plummer. I think, like, from what I heard, that's like from what I heard from his from like reports is that he it was said that he passed away peacefully.
And they say that sometimes you don't know. If
true.
But I hope so. I loved Christopher Plummer.
I did too. Yes.
He was in the movie Battle of Great Britain.
I've never
I
seen
didn't
it.
know that.
Yeah, I've watched.
He's been in a ton of things, you guys. And for the longest time, I thought he was British.
Wait, he's not?
No, he's Canadian.
I don't blame you on that because
I think
I got that feeling as well.
Did you? Okay, I think it was because didn't he have like a British accent in The Sound of Music? Don't tell me you haven't seen that movie, Mike.
Of course I've seen it. It's got one of my favorite moments when he tears off the Nazi flag from his house and lifts it up. I love that part.
Are you just saying that because that's one of the better known scenes?
Well, that, and I actually have seen the movie.
Oh, okay.
And there are better scenes than that. I just love that scene. I'm like, yay!
I love that movie so much. It
is a really good movie.
And I'm not into musicals, but that movie is just gives me such warm fuzzies.
Especially during Christmas time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But,
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I mean, back then I had this really twisted obsession about Mom, you know what I'm about ready to say. I mean,
yeah, you were obsessed with Nazis.
Yeah.
not
because, like in that aspect.
Yeah. No, we know what you mean. We know what you mean.
Not because you liked them. You were fascinated by, I think, the history of it, and also you did like their uniforms.
Is it wrong for me to say that I do like their uniforms because they do look interesting, not the people underneath the uniform?
No, that's not wrong.
No, I think there is a reason for that, I think. And I think it pertains to who designed them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
No, like they hired like a known fashion designer to create the uniforms for the Nazis, and I think that's why not Nazis, yes, Nazis. I feel like that's why, like, aside from, of course, the notoriety of how
were they?
Yeah.
Sorry, I got distracted by this comment. They were designed by Hugo Boss.
Yes.
Huh.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. See, because you can tell, okay, compared to like the Soviet Union uniforms, like what's the word? The Germans had like this almost imperialist style to their uniforms, you know, while the Soviet Union was kind of semi like imperial / casual uniform.
You mean like sharp? You mean like sharp looking? Is that
I mean, yeah, you know,
like it was based on appearance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I do find their uniforms interesting, not the people underneath the uniform.
I mean, you do like a lot of that sort of history, though, like uniforms and weaponry and the hats. Of just
like I know almost every weapon used in that war. Like, I kid you not.
And you know the tank.
I know some of the Russian guns, some of the
PPSH.
Yeah, like there. What was that one Russian gun? The PP something or other. Like that was a pretty good gun
with the drum clip.
Yeah, it's like a round circle. You know.
The Papasha 41.
That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that gun and some of our guns. Yeah, I know a lot.
Of course, ours too. Yeah.
Anyways,
okay, we went way off the subject from the Black Stallion. We need to move on.
We went from Black Stallion to Nazis.
Nazis, yeah.
I was like, how did that happen? So, okay, Mike, what's your third?
All right, so my third actually is not in my top 10. It's more in my top 20.
Okay.
But I don't know if I've referenced this one earlier or not, but it's the Battle of Algiers. It's a 1966 film called The Battle of Algiers. I've always considered it like if anyone were to make a war movie, this would be required viewing.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what's it about?
So it's during the Algerian War for Independence in the late 50s. It
1954 France, it says.
Algerian War.
It says 1954 France is supposed to be the time period.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, hold on. Where? I'm trying to figure out where is Algerian in Europe somewhere, or is it somewhere else? No, wait, never mind.
It's in France, French Algeria.
Right. Well, it's in North Africa, but the French had.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So this was pretty much during the time in which the Algerians were fighting for, were fighting off the French, to gain independence. But this is like it focuses primarily on one particular year, 1957. But it also kind of goes into detail. It's not necessarily like a story. It's more like a chronology of events that led up to like this kind of event in particular.
So it's kind of more like a historical type telling.
It's like a Band of Brothers. Kind of
like how Midway was. Midway felt like a dramatized documentary.
Jackson at work, he was mentioning like Band of Brothers.
I just saw
Band of Brothers is like, it's kind of like a documentary. Just it feels a little bit like a Hollywood, production because Steven Spielberg worked on it, but it's more like a documentary than anything, describing everything.
Right, like I guess a docudrama would be the term.
Mm-hmm.
I do like those.
So you don't get really super attached to any one character then, because it's just kind of just telling this basic story of events?
Technically, there's like one character you get attached to, but only for like a brief moment. And he's an Algerian who's like kind of taken up the cause in this fight, in this fight for independence. But the thing is that throughout the entire movie, you can tell that it's trying to be as, I guess, neutral as possible. But there is like at some point there is like a slight slant towards like the Algerian cause. But like the whole thing, it's showing like, okay, so this is how society was in Algeria, in the city Algiers. You had like this half of it was, for the Europeans only. This other half was for the Algerians only. And it's like, the social structure, the class structure are all completely opposite from each other kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But it is essentially like a docudrama, but the way it's shot is very similar to like newsreel footage. Like, yeah.
So kind of like almost like reality type.
Exactly.
Film. You know what I mean? That type of, the way they shoot. I don't even know what they call like
they use kind of like real cameras, sort of, not like Hollywood production cameras.
Pretty much, yeah. And I think it is that they did use the real cameras because this film was actually made 10 years after the event in Algiers, like in the very city that it took place in.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that conflict it ended in 1962.
Oh, so it had ended just a few years before they made the film, just like a few years.
Right.
Like 3 or 4 years.
And it did. And this was an Italian production. But of course, the whole movie's of course spoken in French and then Arabic. But despite it being a European production, they actually had members of the group that was called Cinema Verite. That was it.
So that's the name for that type of filming. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm learning all sorts of things.
But I mean, what's also interesting with it too is that the people who played like members of the FLN, which was the Algerian rebel group, some of them were actual members of the group itself, and like. Some of them, it was so bizarre because it's
that must have been really surreal for them to be working on something like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would imagine, especially with working on people like, we fought in this war. We'll we'll replay what we did kind of thing.
Tell the story.
Exactly.
That would give people PTSD,
It would.
I mean, like when Steven Spielberg made that D-Day scene, like that brought a lot of PTSD back for the veterans that watched it.
Oh God.
That's so accurate. Just nothing but chaos and bloodshed.
Wow.
That wouldn't surprise me that would be the case because that scene in particular was very that's like, good God, I assume that's the most realistic that we've gotten.
Yeah, I have heard that many times, but I have still not.
Okay, so Mom, I told you this before, but for everybody, I have seen some of Saving Private Ryan. Like I skimmed around when I was younger, but I got the gist of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I do agree that the D-Day scene was captured like 100% accuracy. But when it comes to Saving Private Ryan or A Band of Brothers, I always lean towards Band of Brothers for some reason. I guess because
you mean as far as your favorite?
Yeah, like when it comes to Steven Spielberg's World War II stuff.
Oh, okay.
Something about Band of Brothers. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's because you get to see what, like, I guess the true stuff that happened, but it's also dramatized at the same time. And it's just very detailed in things. I mean, yeah, Private Ryan is, but I don't know.
Well, maybe because also it goes on longer. It was like a 8 or 10 episode miniseries. So
I think
there's just more.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. Just something about Band of Brothers. It always grabbed me more than Saving Private Ryan. Even though Saving Private Ryan did have some good stuff in it, like, well, the accuracy of D-Day.
Scene. Yeah, people have suggested that I watch that as a reaction, for one of my reaction videos for the channel because I have not.
I can tell you this, Mom,
of it, but I haven't.
Yeah, I can tell you this. I mean, I've only watched it when I played it on that special DVD that took out the gore.
Oh,
I have not.
Right.
I have
you haven't seen it in all its. You haven't seen it.
Okay. I saw clips of it, like without the censored, stuff. I saw some of it, but I have not seen all of like the rest of that whole scene. I just know that, yes, I could probably see that happening in a situation like that. Yes, I'm pretty sure what those soldiers went through. That's all you would have seen, just limbs and stuff.
Simon, yes, I believe I have seen that movie. It is played often on Pluto TV, one of the channels. And I don't remember all the details of it, but isn't that the one? Does it take place in Ireland?
Mm-hmm.
Scotland or Ireland, I think. And there's a soldier. He somehow ends up trapped in. Is he like a British soldier or something? I guess this was during a lot of the conflict going on. And he ends up trapped alone in this very hostile town. And it's basically he's trying to survive the night or the day or something. I don't even remember actually how that movie ends, but I do know the premise of it.
I thought it was a pretty good movie.
The 71?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that and Saving Private Ryan too, as well, of course. Yeah.
I think they are both really top level World War II productions, but I have to go. Yeah, like I'm not saying that Saving Private Ryan's bad or anything. I just for some reason.
Well, you haven't even seen it all the way. You said.
Yeah.
You can't really compare.
Well,
maybe you're more interested in Band of Brothers, so that's why.
I guess you could say I could see
some
of it. I know like the gist, but yeah, I do think I should revisit it again.
Yeah, I don't know why I have stayed away from it. I just have
because
not. I know how it ends.
Yeah, I knew how it ends. That actually did make me feel sad.
Yeah, and I just have never, that movie has never grabbed me. And I like a lot of his movies, but I saw Schindler's List once, and I have zero desire to return to it, even though I know it's highly acclaimed and it's one of his better.
I guess for accuracy of just history, then yes,
it's a movie that would be hard to come back to watch, I guess.
Yeah, it's like one of those one-time sort of, it's good, it's awful. Not the film, that the film is awful, but just the subject matter and I have to be in the right mood to watch stuff like that.
And Mom, I don't think you would watch Come and See because the ending of that, yeah.
And that's actually a tie for like that's very close to another movie that I would consider best war film ever. Like it's for me, it's neck and neck between Come and See and Battle of Algiers. And there are also some moments in Battle of Algiers that have like the very intense, like, you know, reaction of different atrocities that occurred during the battle, which I mean, and at least with this movie, they show it where it's like, no, the Algerians did carry out bombings. The French also carried out bombings, and it's like it's putting that, you know, here's what happened to them. This what
bad things on both sides.
Yeah, see, like that's the thing. I see both sides of the spectrum because you know, humans are humans. They always do something to get either the upper hand. It's kind of the same with that war that happened in Central America. I know there was CIA stuff going on along with like I guess a communist thing, but both sides were carrying out some of the like worst things. It's like ugh.
Was it the Sandinistas?
Was it El Salvador? I think it's El Salvador.
I get all those conflicts mixed up.
It was El Salvador, I believe.
Did you see this, Mike? Simon says he believes that the movie was banned in France for a while.
It was actually, yeah.
It
was banned in France for a while because it had like it was alleged to have like an anti-French sentiment to it. But eventually it got unbanned. It was also actually screened at the Pentagon right before the 2003 invasion of Iraq.
Really?
Yeah, as like a visual for, you know, okay, here's you know how to work with civilians. You know, probably don't do what's in this movie.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if this should be like a whole podcast about warfare. Going into like historical. Well, yeah. Well, I was just going to say real quick. Then we'll get back to main subject. But
yeah, you got to list your.
I got one more to go.
Right, you're for one more. Yeah, okay.
But Mom, there's that one movie about that American journalist that went to the Soviet Union.
Oh, Mr. Jones.
Movie about it. I was interested to see like what it was, you know.
Yeah.
What happened.
And
you don't want to watch that one.
No, because I don't.
No. Okay.
You know, a lot of
this makes it. Oh, sorry.
What was it? It was something. Was the name of the movie Mr. Jones or some? I
think.
And so I read up about. There was also another trailer I saw a movie for, and I couldn't tell. I mean, there was another movie I saw a trailer for my channel, and it was also based on a true story. And I found out what happened to the real guy, and I was
it's not like it happened when he was over there.
I know, but it's probably connected to that, Arturo.
Okay, fair point.
Sure it is. And it's just I hate it when the bad guys win. You know what I mean? Like in the end, you know,
right.
Like to me, like because that to me comes across as the bad guys winning, and I can't stand that sort of thing. And I mean, I have to be, like I said, in the right mood to watch.
Like I can't even watch a 9/11 film. Like I just don't know if I
used to watch those, and now I stay away from them. I used to be obsessed with watching things about them because it just fueled a lot of anger in me, and now it just makes me extremely sad, and I just don't like to watch it.
Especially with it having been such a recent event too.
Yes.
I mean, that's totally understandable.
Yeah, and I remember a lot of bad things from that day. A lot of, especially when I was watching Spanish news. Because Spanish language, they don't hold much back, you guys. They show a lot of. They were showing extreme close-ups of people as they jumped from the towers, and I will never forget the sight of this one woman jumping, and she was in a dress, and she was wearing like a scarf or bandana or something, and it ripped away from her, and it was floating above her as she was plummeting to the ground. I mean, just images like that just embed themselves in my brain, and so I have to be
never going to go away.
yeah, it's so sad to me and just makes me so mad because there's nothing you can do to help the people in trouble. You know what I mean? It's like you feel so helpless, and so that's why I stay away from a lot of movies like that. Because I want to be, when I want to watch a movie, I want to be entertained, and that's not entertaining to me. Sometimes I like to watch things to be informed about stuff, but movies and TV shows, they're an escape.
Yeah, but there are some realistic stuff. Man, this got pretty depressing.
Sorry.
This podcast got pretty
South
depressing.
American, I think you might be referring to the Salvadorian War.
Maybe that's what it was. I thought it was El Salvador.
Wait, yeah, are you talking about that Spanish language movie Voces Inocentes? Is that what you're talking about?
Maybe what was
Sorry, what was that, Mike?
No, I was gonna say that sounds like it would have been that because I've seen that one too, and
about the kids.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't
the Civil War and
that one. Yes, so freaking depressing.
But man, we jumped the curve on this one. Woo!
Sorry, what? Who are you speaking to, Colin? And what movie? Because we are jumping all around. I'm sorry, guys.
We've lost we went a different direction.
How old were you then? I was 16. I'm trying to figure out what film he's asking about. He or she. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm not sure what film you're talking about and who that question is directed to. If it's directed to my son or Mike or me.
What? Like an event or a movie?
Sorry, sis, I was thinking. About 9/11.
9/11.
Oh, yeah. I was like 5. For some reason, I don't even remember that day.
It's really weird that you don't because it was on TV all day long. We had it on. We had a TV by that point, and we had it. And I don't know why in the heck I went ahead and did homeschool with you that day. It's like, what?
I'm trying to remember if I ever saw you.
Trying to maintain some sense of normalcy, sort of.
Yeah. No, I remember every single thing that happened that day, where I was, what I did, what I said, everything. Mm-hmm. Like, it's one of those days where it's like, no, I will continue to relive that day. And it was just, so messed up.
It's
hellish
so
day.
Helpless.
Yeah. I was 11, by the way, so.
Okay. Arturo was, you were 5, right?
Wait, what? You mean
5 that day, I think. Yeah. War movies are pretty depressing. I agree, and that's a huge reason why I kind of stay away from them.
I will say, Mom, I think you will like Band of Brothers though, because to be honest, that one I can actually go back and revisit. I mean, there's one episode that is depressing, but it doesn't really like affect the rest of the show itself. Mm-hmm.
I've been meaning to watch it, but there's a lot
watched some of it.
Meaning to. I started reading you the book back in the day, long time ago.
Like the only depressing part is obviously when they find the concentration camp, but everything. But I could still go back and revisit that show. It's really good. And then I got to watch The Pacific. That's another one.
Never seen that. Okay.
Okay, we got to get back to subject here.
Did you say what your third film was? I know we really do diverge.
Well, Mike already said about the Algerian war film.
Yeah, it's your turn, I think, for your third film.
What, me? Oh, okay. Back on subject. So my last one for the third part, it's Star Wars Episode 6.
Okay.
Because, it wrapped up everything that happened from at the time it was 1 and 2, but now it's episode 4 and 5.
4 and 5, yeah.
And I mean, I will say episode 5 is a really great film. It took something, like it went in a different direction.
Yeah.
From like, your typical, so-and-so will save the day, blah, 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 blah. No, that was reversed, but
they lost.
And it was sad.
Yeah.
But Return of the Jedi, while I understand there's some issues, little issues. It's not enough to like
little furry issues.
Okay,
that's the main issue for me. The Ewoks, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not enough to like ruin the rest.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't ruin it for me either. I know.
I mean, I like the fact that now. Okay, I don't. This is the thing. I don't know who else here or whoever listens to this podcast when it's done. When I'm done editing it, there are people out there that probably still haven't even seen Star Wars. I'm trying not to spoil too much. Let's just say the heroes come back together. Blah blah
if
blah.
they haven't seen it, they have no interest in seeing it at this point.
Yeah, it's like one of those movies where it's like, you know what? At some point, it's been spoiled already.
Yeah,
100 times. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
But the heroes come back, and it's the full conclusion. I mean, I like the ending. It concluded the trilogy. And, I always remember going back to that one a little more at the time, just because I like to see the conclusion of everything with Luke, Darth Vader, Han, Leia, everybody, fantastic characters.
yeah. That final
battle. I really like that final battle.
The lightsaber battle. I just remember feeling it. I like it, but I remember feeling like it was a bit anticlimactic when he took his helmet off.
Yeah, that was okay.
What was underneath was just like, I wish now they'd go, like I've said before in other videos, I wish they would go now in like another release of this film, and that they would take Hayden Christensen's face and age it and stick a digital image of that.
That would be cool.
The actor.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened already.
Well, I mean, they put his ghost image
right
in the DVD version. I don't know why they don't.
You have to realize, Mom,
it would make it feel more complete. They can fix him up to look like he's older. And the guy that ended up being revealed as Darth Vader was just like, are you serious? He's this old, pudgy, pasty looking, like, what? It just ruined the image of Darth Vader for me, you guys.
I mean, you could look at it this way. He is like, his character's 45? So maybe he got, he's older.
I can understand him being pasty because he's never exposed to any sort of sunlight at all, ever. Because basically his suit is his survival chamber. I mean, it keeps him alive. But he's just blah. It just doesn't, he's not as striking an image as you expect. Maybe that was the point, but to me, it kind of diminishes the whole Darth Vader thing. Because now okay, this is what he looks like underneath, and he's just like quite unimpressive.
Simon Smith says people underappreciate the climax of ROT happening on 3 types. The throne room, the space battle, and the ground. Yeah, I really like
the back and forth between all of those. It was really building the tension.
Yeah, I really loved that. The battle scenes, like the space battles, was really good. They had the threat of the Death Star. What?
Are you for real, Grimes? You really haven't? What? You really haven't? No, it can't be. He's got to be teasing. Sorry, I'm getting to the comments here.
And I do like the battle scene in Endor. I mean, yeah, the Ewoks had their little issues, but I still liked it. I mean, Mom, tell me, is it because they're a little too cartoony? Is that why?
It feels a little bit too. I know it appeals to young kids, but it felt like that this movie was, especially coming after Episode 5, very serious. It was serious and it was a downer, and it just felt like it added a little bit too much comedy and levity to the movie when it seemed like it needed to feel a bit more sober.
Yeah, my issue is, why are these trained stormtroopers not able to take down these little teddy bears?
I know, right?
They're so stupid. They're like the droids, except, well, they're clueless. They've always made fun of the stormtroopers. They can't aim right. Have you noticed that?
They're terrible soldiers. They're terrible.
Mando
can helmets.
Say what?
I said it's because of their helmets. That's the only thing I'm going to defend the stormtroopers on.
We can't see properly.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the little eye holes. It's like.
I mean, but Darth Vader can see just fine through his.
Well, his has bigger eyesights than the stormtroopers.
Is that what it is? Does it? Okay, well, I don't know.
I don't know. Even in the Mandalorian, they can't seem to take down one bounty hunter.
I think at this point now it's become a thing, and they do that on purpose.
Yeah.
Like in the Mandalorian, that's probably intentional that they make them just completely incapable. Oh, sorry, Arturo.
They were like 11 generation clones, and we're just missing huge chunks of. Well, there's a thing where the clone troopers actually in the timeline they discontinued the clones. There was only a few clones in the Imperial Army. The rest were like just regular people, and even what I heard that some of the clones were like very didn't really like the fact that they're getting these people, but they kind of the clones thought that these stormtroopers were dumb. At least that's what I've been hearing from like some of these stuff, like timeline stuff. That the clones, some of the clones that were still alive, they're like, yeah, no, they're incompetent, and sure enough, they were right. They can't hit a target.
No.
Oh my gosh. It's them. Blast them. No, you get blasted first. I mean, you remember that scene in the first one or New Hope? It's them. Blast them. Don't shoot. Like, just shoot. Don't talk.
In the new, no, I don't remember that scene.
Yeah. When they were escaping the Death Star.
Yeah, it's not coming to me. Been a while.
Anyways, back to Return of the Jedi. All right. There was just a lot of good stuff about it. I just like the conclusion to it all. It wrapped up nicely.
The opening was certainly very enjoyable.
Oh yeah, definitely, and the music too. I mean, John Williams, he's still cranking, but man, he
recently had a birthday.
Yeah, he's like what, 90? Is he 90 years old now?
90 or 91, or I forget.
I missed that. I haven't even seen the Clone Wars, but the Mandalorian brought me back.
We haven't finished the Clone Wars. We need to.
Yeah, we still need to finish that. Yeah. And boy, a lot of people are talking about Mandalorian. Like a lot.
I would imagine.
Yeah, I know what happens at the end. I think you do too.
I know a little bit. Yes, okay. Some clips, but
I have heard. I heard on a video. I think it was. Oh, okay. The Ocon brothers. They were having a live stream, and this discussion about different MCU and Star Wars stuff came up, and they heard that there was. I don't know if this is going to happen, but if it does, I mean, it should. And that the speculation was that they were going to get Sebastian Stan to play in a Luke Skywalker series, which would be perfect because he looks like a carbon copy of Mark Hamill.
Carrie Fisher in a
that would be cool.
Metal bikini.
Yeah, right.
Stars. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, that's all I have to say about Return of the Jedi. I just liked it, and it's also 80s. And 80s,
yeah, of course.
True.
Yeah, you were debating whether you were going to pick episode 5 or 6 for this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if this was a competition, I would fully pick the better subjects. But I still like Return of the Jedi, so I added it because it concluded. It was a finale.
Complete the story, yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. And yes, 7, 8, 9 never happened. Bye.
No, we're not counting them. Who? What are you even talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
Wait, what? Yeah, what did I just say?
I don't know.
Huh.
Okay, so
what about the one with Rey?
Who?
The one with the lady and the lightsaber and
I don't know
and the ball droid.
Oh, you mean Ahsoka?
No idea who you're talking about.
It was the greatest. I loved it. Honestly, I can't really form an opinion on many of the Star Wars movies, to be honest.
You're not into Star Wars and stuff?
I mean, not necessarily, but like I'll watch them. I'll watch them every now and then, except I still haven't seen, what was it, 9, which I really don't have an interest in watching it.
I stopped after 7. I didn't. The only one of the movies that came after the prequels were done. The only one that I actually enjoyed was Rogue One.
Yeah, that
one was actually, I would say I would agree with you on that one. That's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Same. yeah, like other than that, it's like I don't follow the lore that much. I don't really. Yeah.
It's a big franchise. I mean,
Oh goodness.
like
absolutely, yeah.
See, what I do have appreciation for George Lucas just because he created something, you know, I like
that has lasted so long.
Yeah, goodness.
Captivated so many people.
He kind of inspires me when it comes to me creating things, you know, like with imagination and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's good. That's important.
So, you know, him and, you know, Quentin Tarantino, they all have like an imagination they like to show to the world.
And Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, and Steven Spielberg.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just y'all were listing like all these famous ones, and I'm like, what's an obscure one? Agnes Varda. Everyone knows her.
Who was that?
She was like a French. She was a French filmmaker.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, she did. I'm trying to remember what movies she did. She didn't really do anything that popped out of the mainstream, though. It was more like kind of art film kind of material.
Oh, okay.
Colin Bass. Yeah, I have not seen Solo myself. That was one I was
just writing. It wasn't awful. I mean, I prefer that over the other
recent ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, I finished. I think Mike finished. So it's your turn.
Okay, my last one is kind of getting into the territory of the types of movies that I really dig more than most of the ones we were talking about tonight, and that would be Underworld. I love that movie. It's so much fun.
Vampires.
I remember when it was in theaters, and I did not go to see it in the theaters, and I really wish I had. I just remember seeing the commercials for it, but having no idea what the heck it was really about. I remember the scene of her shooting the floor. They were showing that in the commercials, the trailer. She was shooting the floor, and she had this awesome black coat, and she goes down to the next level on top of the concrete thing that she had just shot out. And I was like, what is this? Is this some sort of like steampunk type of movie? What is this about? And then I finally watched it years later and I was like, holy cow, this movie is extremely fun. And she is completely badass and I love her character.
Oh, she is a badass.
Nice.
So that's on my top 10.
And sadly, the only good one is the first one, sadly.
Yeah.
I repeated myself there, but it is sad.
Well, I remember. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I remember seeing the ads for it. Like it was advertised like crazy, and I can still remember certain scenes of it or certain shots from the advertisements. I unfortunately haven't seen it though.
I imagine it would have been a lot of fun to watch on the big screen. You have not seen it. Of course you had. That just sank in my brain. Of course you haven't seen it.
Simon said, forget the
Criterion Collection. Here comes the Arturelia Collection.
Heresy! No one forgets the Criterion Collection.
I mean, you seem like someone who likes more sort of kind of off the normal sort of beaten path type of movies. You like a lot of these different sort of films. So it doesn't surprise me that a lot of these different ones that I've mentioned you haven't seen.
But they still sound interesting nonetheless. Like I do want to give Underworld a try. I want to give.
Do you know what it's about?
All I can gather from what I remember seeing is there's like a war between. Is there like a war between vampires and like another race of like, or species of like, yeah.
It starts with a W.
Werewolf.
I'm waiting to see. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so it's like if Twilight was good.
Yeah, exactly. We don't count Twilight either.
Wait, what's Twilight?
I don't know.
Twilight?
Yeah, it's actually got a very interesting storyline to it. So basically, Celine is the character, and she calls herself she's a death dealer. Yeah, I've heard about that thing.
Oh, it's an RPG system. Oh.
And she's a death dealer. She hunts down werewolves because there's this battle between werewolves and vampires, and she starts to find out certain things about the people around her that she thought she knew, but she really didn't.
Conspiracy.
Okay.
She finds out this history that has been hidden from her and a bunch, like pretty much everyone else. It's been covered up.
Conspiracy.
So there's like a little bit of mystery involved, and also on top of the fact that there's all these battles going on, and she's kicking werewolf butt all the time.
You mean ask?
Yeah, she's kicking their ass. And then she is Scott Speedman, I think that's his name. He's a human. He gets caught in the middle, but then I think you find out that there is more of a connection than they realize that he has with stuff that's going on, even though he has no idea. It's just I thought it was very well written. It's well directed. I think one of the guys who plays in there, the big burly the big black guy who has this very, very deep voice, who played one of the werewolves. I want to say he was involved in writing the story of that. I thought my brothers told me that.
Really?
Yeah, his voice. When you hear him talk, you'll know, oh, that's the guy she's talking about.
He's not the one who passed away a while ago, was he?
Are you thinking Michael Clark Duncan?
Right.
No, I don't know this guy's name, but he's got a very unusual voice. I'll try to look at it.
Sorry about that.
Anyway, it's a really fun film. It doesn't rate super high, like obviously with regular critics, but the audience generally really loves it. It's just so much fun. That's a movie that I could watch time and time again.
I would say I don't think at the time I was that interested in it. Well, maybe I was, because I remember when we were going up to Boston, that horrible trip up there.
During
that we were, I think we were at a hotel and it was on, and I remember watching it.
Oh, okay.
But
I found the guy's name. Sorry, his name is. I won't be able to pronounce his last name. Kevin. He has what looks like almost like a French.
Kevin Grevigox.
I'm not even going to try.
Graveau?
Okay. Graveau, yeah, that. Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Did you put that Kate Beckinsale?
I'm just assuming, like, I see the X, and every time I see it's like OUX or something, I'm like, oh. It's O.
Yeah.
Pardon the pun.
Say, I would not have probably not have liked this film at the time, and until I got into Helsing. That was that actually got me into vampires.
Right.
The anime version, not Van Helsing, the Helsing anime. So thank you, Helsing, because you got me into Underworld and other vampire stuff, which is gracious.
Did it get you into the abridged version of Helsing Ultimate?
Oh yeah. Hey kids, you want to see a dead body? Okay, but
this was a hog.
How's your health? What was it he said? Something
Hi, guys.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, it's great.
Yeah.
That is.
Hold on, I need to tweet about this.
Yeah.
It's Nazis. Oh, good. Would it be funny? If it's like Nazis.
Oh, I know.
Here we go. We're back to Nazis again.
Oh, good. It's always the Nazis.
I know.
Won't we?
That's so much fun. That reminds me, I need to write Crispin. I had been putting it off forever.
Wait, you're gonna do an interview, Crispin?
Well, I was going to ask him that, but I also was going to write him about seeing whether he would let Aurelia hire him to do some voices for Tally and Chica. So I have just keep forgetting.
I know I would really like to have Chuck in the Toy War.
Arturo, he would be more than happy to.
Yeah, it's just his character is not like, I'm not at that point yet when his character shows up.
Do you have? You know what? If you've got lines already ready, he would do them. He's very reasonable.
I like Chuck.
Yeah, really good guy. Yeah. Did you finally finish watching the interview I did with him?
Yeah.
Okay. That was fun. Actually, it was really great to talk with him again. It'd been forever.
Yeah, I liked Underworld. That was, like I've said, sadly, it's
now I feel like I want to watch it again.
It's the only good one. I mean, the second one's okay, but
it's not completely unwatchable, but it got kind of over the top with the stuff.
gore.
It's like, it's like there wasn't so much of a focus on story like there was in the first one. There was a lot of action and
well, like I would say
but there was also a focus on story. In the second one, it was more of a focus on gore and fighting. It was like, okay, after a while,
stuff.
Yeah, that too.
The gore and stuff.
But
the prequel wasn't.
They tied loose ends to certain things with the second one. Like why the werewolves are, blah blah blah, and then
talking about the prequel.
No, not the prequel. The sequel.
Wow. Yeah, I don't remember much about it. I actually have it. The first one is the one I return to more.
I do. I also like just the fact of this underworld with vampires. Like
the action scenes were really good.
Oh yeah. Why
I also like the color palette that they used in there. It's kind of like a bluish, sort of overcast,
depressing feel, but it feels like another world,
right?
Because of vampires and werewolves.
And it's supposed to, I think.
Yep, and that's why I'm writing a vampire story, because I'm into vampires, and Underworld just expanded that. Thank you very much. Underworld.
I have not seen City of God.
Damn. City of God, that is a good one, but oof. It is a tough watch sometimes.
Heard about it.
Oh no, a tough watch.
Crime drama.
It's a tough watch because it's a gang. It's about like
it's
gangs, but they're all kids.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
Yeah. And I think it's based on a true story because it's in like somewhere in Brazil.
In Underworld 2, they were trying to ice skate uphill.
What?
That's what Simon said.
Oh, sorry. I was on a different tab. What?
What do you mean just because of how crazy it got with the gore? Maybe.
Are you being symbolic, or was there a scene?
It's a Blade reference. Oh, that's another good vampire Marvel movie.
Yeah, Blade is good.
I like Blade 2. I haven't even seen the third one.
Blade 2 is my favorite.
Yeah, it's got Daryl. It's
because Guillermo del Toro did that one, and
he's a good director. But that's probably like the only film I've seen that he made. I do want to see. What's the other one? Labyrinth? No, not Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, even though I know how that ends because I think you told me.
That is, that's a really good movie though.
But it said like in Spain during World War II. It's kind of just Spain because Spain never, Spain was so lucky. Here we go. We're going back to World War II again. Spain never got involved in any of those world wars except they had their own civil war. That's about it. Wait, it is based on a true story. It's the slums of Rio.
City of God. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's violence there. There's a lot of sunshine and cool stuff in it too. It's very realistic, kind of documentary style.
Okay.
I have to point out the going away party scene was really I don't know what about it, but actually I do know what about it. The strobing lights that they had during that scene when everything just went chaotic.
Wait, are you talking about City of God?
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that, so I didn't. I wasn't sure what you're meaning. But
Pan's Labyrinth too. That was a good one too.
Yeah.
Actually, it has one of my favorite lines in any film.
What's that?
I don't know if this would be a spoiler or not. So should I pack a spoiler warning, or should I?
I mean, I kind of.
He knows how it is. Arturo knows how it is.
But I haven't seen the film.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Okay, I'll go ahead. It's the one where it's when what is it? He's finally confronted, and he's like, "Tell my son when he grows up everything about," and then she's like, "Nah, he won't even know your name."
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
I remember that. He was terrible, that guy. Oh my god.
Wasn't he kind of like a fascist?
He was, yeah.
Because Spain were allies.
He was also very sadistic.
Yeah.
He's just a bad person in general.
But he was part of the fascist side, unfortunately.
Yeah. But it's good.
Well, Spain's had a lot of problems at that time, but man, they come out of it.
Bram Stoker's Dracula was a very good movie. And then I did the audiobook. I proofed the audiobook for Bram Stoker's Dracula. And I had never read that before. And I noticed that. And then while I was working on it, my last day of proofing the audiobook, and then the last day I was proofing the audiobook, I decided I wanted to play the movie while I was working. And as I was playing the movie, I'd only seen it once before, but as I was playing the movie, I was noticing how much it diverged from the actual book. So, the movie focuses, like, the movie makes this big romance between Dracula and Nina, and in the book, it wasn't really like that at all. Also, the final scene that they had, the showdown, was very short, very quick in the book.
Oh.
But it was still fun to work on. It was interesting because it was about vampires, and I
vampire. Oh, I'll show you. Oh yeah, I will. Quoting my my granddad.
One of Arturo's what was that?
Okay. It was that fun anime dub project. You know, Mike, the one where I did the Brussels sprout one.
Yeah. You guys were doing a bunch of
they
ads.
want 2 million Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, that's right.
You get your stupid Brussels sprouts.
And you had my dad do some of the voices, and he's a terrible voice actor.
And that's why he became Clancy in the Toy War.
Yeah.
If that was only true.
It's so obvious he's reading. So I guess we've gone through all the three.
Goodness, we went on for like 2 hours and 26 seconds because we diverged everywhere.
Yeah, they tend to do that. I'm so glad you're able to join us, Mike.
Well, thank y'all for having me on again. I really appreciate it.
Will you be able to join us for 87 Thursday?
I have to make sure. If I am free, I do have a movie in mind though for that one, but I'm gonna save it until. There's
a lot of good ones. Well, okay. There's only 3 that comes to mind in 83 that I've seen. But I'm pretty sure there may be more. I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm sure there's always more. Like even ones that we like the ones that y'all mentioned that I still need to watch.
So, Mom, you can't be mad at me.
It's like the Star Wars movie.
Which Star Wars movie?
I don't know. I heard it was called like Star Wars.
Oh.
I'm not familiar with it.
Wait, you haven't.
Oh, is that the joke one?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you haven't seen the Black Stallion.
Right.
And
Black Stallion and Warrior.
And you haven't seen Warrior. You haven't even seen Underworld. You haven't seen any of the ones that I mentioned, but I haven't seen any of the ones you mentioned either. So
you can't be mad at me.
All right,
I was minding my own business.
And you haven't gotten around to Silver Bullet. And what was one of the other ones we talked about the last time?
Little Nikita.
Little Nikita. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, I think 87 is going to be really fun. I know already 3 that I really like to talk about.
Yeah, I need to go through and refresh my memory.
So,
see I messaged you in the private chat, Mike. I don't know.
Yes.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Fury Road,
movie of the last decade. Oh, is that the one? Is that the one that came out in 2015, or is that from the 80s?
No.
No, that was recent.
That was Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron. I wasn't super thrilled with that film.
You didn't even like it.
Janelle and I watched it and we were like, what the heck? This is completely insane. Some of the stuff that was going on in there was just like, I can't. Like these people, they were having this big car chase and there were people attached to these poles that were moving, but they were also like playing guitar or something. And it was like, what? I can't.
That's enough insanity for me to enjoy it.
You might like it.
I don't care how insane it was. It was perfect. It was just mwah.
It was insane. For sure.
So Mom, I've said this before, but would you be able to join us tomorrow for the anime like 3 best or favorites? Because you've seen a few.
I'm not as well versed in anime as you are. I'm sort of have a super. Yeah, it was exactly it was. I have a sort of a superficial. I mean, I could probably pick 3, but I don't know. We'll see.
Well, that's why I also selected 3 because it would just be easier.
Yeah, it's quick.
Also for you. I guess Mad Air might join us. Yeah, so everybody that's listening, well, you know what, Mom? You've gotten more views on your channel on this live stream than mine. I got like 0.
Oh,
no one will come and listen to my podcast except for you.
Aww.
No one. I'm sorry, Arturo. But I figured
That's why you need to join us for the anime podcast live stream. Because if not, I will just pre-record it.
But it might be that nobody shows up because maybe
nobody cares about Arturelia. I get it. I understand. Yeah,
I
understand.
I'll try to. I'll try to. Dawn of the Dead or Night of the Living Dead.
Both.
Huh.
I know which one I would pick. Though it's been a while.
7 on your channel. Yeah. Meanwhile, Seto on mine. Yeah.
Which one would you pick, Mike?
So honestly, I would pick Night, but that's on a more personal level because that was my very first horror movie that I watched.
How old were you when you watched that one?
I was actually 12. I got into horror movies later than I should have.
Oh, okay.
Later than you should have.
But that was because my folks aren't big fans of horror movies, so it was one of those things of, oh God, he finally got into them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know? Do a show entirely about Akira? You'll get views.
Oh, I hate Akira.
I liked it up until
it got absolutely insane.
See, at the time when I watched it on Toonami, I enjoyed the whole thing. When you pointed it out, though, I'm just like, I get what you're saying now.
I have a line, and that movie crossed that line into insane territory that it was just like I liked it up until that.
It was an interesting concept. Like, I was more interested, like, who were the bad guys? Was it the government or was it the rebels? Because it seemed like the rebels were causing, like, terrorist attacks, and the government was trying to control them or something. I don't know. But, yeah, that last part.
It could have been both.
They what?
Maybe.
It could have been both. That they were both,
doing bad.
Equally reprehensible.
Oh, look, Mom, you got 8 on yours. Meanwhile, I'm still in 0. I'll keep pointing that out.
Yeah, okay. All right. Maybe that's why I'm a virgin when it comes to weed. So, I just didn't have an appreciation. I know it is highly rated. I know a lot of people really love it, but
I guess because it was a bit revolutionary for like its animation at the time,
maybe, yeah, I guess.
And on top of that, you got Johnny Bosch. You know how funny he is.
I forgot he was in that.
Yeah, he was the main guy that took down the. He was the guy in the red coat and the bike. Yeah. Was that his name?
Akira, right?
No, Akira was this kid that caused almost like an atomic bomb in Tokyo in that movie.
The kid was sexual.
They took part of whatever was remnants of him for experiments.
Okay.
It's weird, like I said, but one of those movies like Star Wars. When it came out, we'd never seen anything like it. Plus, the messaging was probably lost in cultural translation. I'm not quite sure what it meant either.
Oh, his name was
Tetsuo.
Tetsuo!
Wait, wasn't Tetsuo the one that turned into that blob?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that was just.
Spoiler, but he even killed his girlfriend in his little blob state.
I forgot about that. Aww.
I saw it was
he literally squished her, and she.
They're supposed to be making a live action film of that. I think they've been talking about that forever.
Yeah. I don't know how. I'll say it's good, but not great.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those overrated.
I gave it a 7 out of 10 because there are good stuff to it. It's just the last part of it. What?
I know. It lost me. It lost me. Maybe I'll join you tomorrow, Arturo. I'll try to think of some anime.
Because your channel gets the popularity.
It's nice to have interaction with.
And I'm not going to get interaction. Like,
my goodness, I sense some jealousy going on here.
Yeah, I'm jealous. No, like the only person that actually talks on my channel. I mean, I could just go live myself with Mad Air, but what's his name? Ricardo. He pops on from time to time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
My favorite part is that in the dub, Canada is pronounced Canada, but in the original dialogue, it's pronounced Canada. What?
I don't even remember that part.
No, I thought it was Canada.
No, like he was referred to as Canada in the dub, I guess.
Canada, but the original dialogue it's pronounced
Canada. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Johnny on Bosch played that character.
I forgot that was him.
Every time I think about Johnny on Bosch, I just think of that one panel that we went to.
Oh my gosh. He was so funny. He was
get out of this 50-mile-an-hour car and do that right now, just like Teen Wolf. Nah, you're chicken. So stupid young me got out of this 50-mile.
Oh, he's gonna repeat the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at repeating stuff.
You put that up on your channel, right, Arturo?
Yeah, people, if you want to see Johnny on Bosch's whole statement about why he got out of this 50-mile-an-hour car at a young age, just go to my channel and go to like the entertainment part. There's like anime.
It was when he worked on Power Rangers with that.
Yeah,
I forget his name now. David.
But gosh, that panel was funny. I cracked up like.
Oh, he was hilarious.
On top of the roof, you got wind and dust. I was like this. I couldn't even open my eyes, and I'm Asian.
It was so funny. Stop biting my shirt, little girl. Stop it.
Let me see Luca. I want to see that precious face. There you go. Hey, Luca.
You're like, what's going on?
Wait, what? The Conjuring. Yeah, that's
Conjuring's a good movie. I actually enjoyed the second movie quite a bit.
Yeah, I liked both the first and second one. And I actually did like the third Annabelle film.
Yeah, the one we went to go see.
I have never seen La Llorona. And we saw the second Annabelle movie.
The La Llorona isn't in that universe.
Yeah, it is.
It is?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That one. There's another La Llorona on Shudder that I've been meaning to watch.
Good night. It is getting late, and I haven't even eaten dinner yet.
Oh my goodness!
Actually, yeah.
We should probably wrap this up.
So, everybody, thanks for listening to mostly in my mom's channel. I know you guys are more into her channel than mine. I only got like 0 right now. No, I'm just kidding. No, thank you guys for listening to the Arturelia podcast. Tomorrow, I'm going to hold like the 3 best anime. Same deal with this. And Thursday, we're going to hold a movie and TV show room discussion for the year 1987. We're still doing the Rocking the 80s.
Yep.
Boy, that's going to be fun.
That's going to be
And hopefully Mike and Matt, you guys will be able to join us for that one.
I'm hoping to be there with y'all too.
Great.
It'll be a blast.
Is there a certain time that works better for you than others, or?
Normally, like it would be 7, but I need to hear back from someone because we had talked about the possibility of meeting up or not meeting up, but like, I guess meeting up for an event.
Okay. We usually hold the discussions like at 9 p.m., but will that conflict with your schedule?
I mean, it won't, but again, I need to hear back from what's going on the other end with to see if the thing that's going on is going on at that time. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, you could just let me know if you'll be able to make it or not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume Corey Michaels movies will show up for that one.
Yeah, he said
he'll make it for that one.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna assume it may be like 9:00 that we'll do it. I mean, if we want to do it earlier, that will be fine. But it'll be up to everybody. So I'll mention it.
You don't work that day, so I don't think there's not going to be a conflict with you.
But yeah, for everybody, we will do an anime discussion or anime pod. Oh yeah, a podcast about the 3 best animes.
Not just from New Mexico. It actually is from Mexico itself. It is in a lot of the sorry, we're touching on the story
La
of
Llorona.
Yeah. In fact, the very first episode of Supernatural dealt with La Llorona.
Really?
Yeah, the very, very first one. And the girl who played her is the girl who played in she's played in stuff I've seen, and now I can't remember the name of it, so I'm not even going to try. But I recognize her, and I think she's been cast as a major character in some film or franchise. That's going to bug me now, you guys.
Marvel, the Marvel universe.
Remember, she's
Alita Battle Angel.
No, shoot.
Star Wars.
Mm-mm.
DC.
I don't remember. That's really bugging me. But
Dragon Ball.
her name is
Scooby-Doo.
Sarah. Her name is Sarah. Oh gosh, I'm not going to pronounce it good. Sarah Shahai, whatever.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Where are you?
She's been pronounced. Listen to me. She's been. Who is she? Okay. She's going to be in Black Adam.
Black Adam. Oh, that's a Marvel. Is that a Marvel movie?
No, Black Adam is DC.
I said DC.
I couldn't remember, Arturo, and it might be that she's going to be in something else too. I don't remember. But anyway,
Sarah Connor, get in the chopper.
So yeah. Anyway, I didn't know you were reading people. Velma from Scooby-Doo played in the La Llorona, the movie, the recent one. I didn't know that.
I assume that's what he's talking about.
I saw that movie, but I forgot about it. But there's another La Llorona movie on Shudder that I want to see, and it looks quite good. I was actually thinking to do a reaction to that movie, but I haven't gotten around to it.
La Llorona.
Yeah. Wait, who was this? Okay, but is it Llama or Yama? No, it's Llama. It's Llama, Simon.
La Llorona.
Because the word llama, it's actually not a Spanish word, I don't think. We're talking languages now, sorry.
Espanol.
Yay. Oh, this is what Javier kept doing when he was here.
Get to the chopper.
My gosh.
Do it now.
See, now I want to go from watching Underworld to watching another Terminator movie. Okay.
You need to choose one now. Now. Pick one now. You have the Terminator poster behind you.
I know. And
or
also,
you can watch Black Panther.
Yep.
Black Panther.
Maybe I need to hang up that Wonder Woman poster you gave me. Oh, and I've got Spawn. Also, that's not Spawn, but he fell. Yeah, it is Spawn. He fell over.
It's Spawn.
There's the Terminator back there.
Yeah.
And then I've got this Wonder Woman ice cream container that Janelle gave us when the movie came out.
Nice.
So
Wonder Woman.
Well, this was fun.
Yep.
But we've been yapping for quite a while.
Man,
Thank
again,
you so much for everybody who joined in the chat. This was great. And thank
mostly
you
joined in my mom's chat. Yeah, I was left out, even though I hosted.
Oh
Thank
my
you very
goodness. There we go again.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding, people. Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to end the broadcast now, or should I?
I'll do it now. Thank you, everyone. Peace and good night.
Oh, yeah. Hold on a second.
No,
Yes.
I'm putting it on now.
I know. I don't remember if that's you that was telling me that Arnold's German is kind of he sounds like a little bit backwards, like kind of Southern or uneducated type. So that's what he's referring to, that they had to dub it. They didn't use his voice.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he's a German speaker.
The French dub Terminator. Whoa. I was reading
sorry.
this. The French dub Terminator was just weird.
To listen to. The Spanish version isn't that great either.
Great podcast. Thank you, Simon.
Yes, thank you, everybody. This was so much fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, we went high, low, sad, happy.
My goodness.
Gosh, we have a big genre here.
Yep. A lot of interesting films that were talked about.
And a lot of interesting trivia and history.
Yep. So, okay. Thank you guys so much. And
Hasta la vista.
See you the next one.
Baby.
Hasta luego. Yeah. Bye, guys.
Or it should be hasta luego. Not
hasta luego. They don't really say hasta luego. Okay.
That's another trivia.
Cutting up now.